a good topic.
Yeah.
Oh, we in.
Right, cool.
Always Finesse Entertainment. Andre Finesse TV. Low in the building.
Yeah. Back.
You know what I mean?
More Danny.
You see what I mean? That's a
Black Danny. This
that's a very good way to start it. You get me? Because the way that I'm using it is something completely different. I'm calling myself Black Danny because black is an amazing thing to me. Black is amazing to me. You get me? So the way that I'm saying that, oh, my name is Black Danny, right? You will address me as that.
Yeah.
You will look at me and say, he is Black Danny. What he does is amazing.
Yeah.
Him using that name, him using that term, it's amazing.
All right, cool. Now, if we flip this perspective now and take you out of the perspective and look at how the world views that, there's a lot of people that would have called you Black Danny before you said that.
Yes.
This is what I'm trying to say. So it talks about the power in the word black. You understand? This is what we really need to talk about because black is black color. Look what I'm wearing. I'm wearing all black. My beard is black. Do you understand? It's black. It's this is what we're doing here. Do you understand? So I can love black, but at the same time, there's still a lot of things that I'm happy with.
There's a lot of
to
things
do with the way black is portrayed.
Yes, there's a lot of things that have negative connotations to do with the word black.
Shout out, yes, Swerve.
It's very
Joey, Dan, Wagwan. Yeah, Black Lives Matter. We're chatting today.
It's very important to take everything into perspective and bring everything into your own perspective. The English language as a thing, it's got terms that can be seen as in different ways.
Yeah.
Right? So the way that, like, let's not mince it, that we do have white for weddings, seen as a good thing. Black for funerals, seen as a bad thing.
Yes.
Black male.
Yeah, black male, all of these things, right? As a terminology, why they were created was for negativity and for segregation and to say white is good and black is bad. Yes. That's correct,
100%.
right? It is a thing now where a wedding as a thing, right? Would you say it's a good thing? Like, if you
Two people will answer their love for each other
you know
before
what I
their
mean?
friends and family.
You know
It's
what I
always
mean?
going to be.
Yeah.
I love you, you love me.
So-
Look, all our friends and family are here. You lot can all eat for free.
then-
Do you understand?
So now it's not about to me. It's not about having a white wedding. You get me? It's about having a wedding.
But I'll be honest with you.
You get me?
I get what you're saying, but I feel like you've overcome that barrier as a person.
Shout Swerve for that one. Word is power. That's exactly what it is. What you say is very powerful.
Yeah, and you're comfortable. Like, obviously, all of us here as black men are very comfortable within ourselves, and we know how to deal with a lot of things. But in society in general, if you said to somebody on a natural, no disrespect to what you're saying, because I know a wedding is a wedding. If you said to somebody, "What do you wear to a wedding?" they'd say white, and if you said to somebody, "What do you wear to a funeral?" they'd say black.
Black is beautiful, but if I asked my wife to wear black on her wedding, what do you think? Or my girlfriend to wear black on her wedding? If people saw that, what will be the first thought?
And this is part of the problem. We are sticking with that negative connotation. Not we as us in this room,
but I mean,
but as people,
yes.
as society, we are sticking with these connotations of you need to have this positive colour of white. Like this positive colour of white in your wedding. No, you can do whatever you like. You are having a wedding. You do what you want in your wedding on your wedding day. You wear whatever colour you like, whatever colour makes you feel good. You wear that, right? You don't need to associate what has come before. Right, you don't need to follow that. We can tell society. We can tell society to change.
See, right there, right there.
This whole mentality needs to be changed.
There's two sides of that. One and two, I say to that is because the only way we can. I understand what you're saying about changing it generational, because I believe that racism can be outgrown with generations. I do believe that the way the world is going and social media and a lot of things that are happening, a lot of people are connected in different ways, in a lot of different races, a lot of different cultures are being brought out and being viewed in a lot of different ways, because a lot of different people are being voicing and they're voicing opinions, etc. So I believe that we can drown out racism eventually. However, I believe that it's these connotations here that will keep it. It's these exact, alright, well, if we just overlook that blackmail is a bad thing, or we overlook that. Whether if we allow these things to stay the way they are, as in, no, we can say we can change it, but if we change it, it doesn't change the word, and the word is the power. What is written is what stays.
You're misunderstanding though. The overlooking is not what I'm saying. It's not overlooking. It's the change in the mentality.
The only way you can change it, is by physically changing it. We have to come forward and say this is not acceptable.
This is not acceptable.
I know, but you're saying, but your angle is more like, well, we can run with it, or we can just go. There's no going around it. We have to get this head on. This is not okay anymore.
I see where you're both coming from, because I see what you're saying. We can overcome anything, but I understand what you're saying as well.
Yeah.
The bottom line is if you go to somebody, even if you overcome that word, let's say blackmail, if you said to somebody you blackmailed me, they know what it means.
Yeah.
So like you said, it's the power in the word.
Exactly.
We can overcome it, and we can say, boy, you know what? It is where it is, whatever, blackmail, whatever. We can ride past that, but the fact is,
it still stands
as a society, no matter who you are, if you say to somebody, what does blackmail mean? It's something negative.
Yeah.
It's used in a negative way to benefit you in some form of way. And like he's saying, it's the power in the word. Yeah, you can't overcome that word, because that word exists.
It's the word, yeah.
It's the word.
It's true.
It's the word.
I don't associate the word blackmail as being, it's black the colour and male. I don't associate. My mind does not take it like that.
That's good.
Do you know what I mean?
You're saying.
My mind does not take it like that. And I feel that we are so focused on what is traditional, what other people are doing, what is everybody doing, rather than saying to people who are doing it, Raj, you know what? Using the word blackmail, shouldn't really use it. We could use another word. We can make something, and we can tell each other.
We have to get that taken from the dictionary. This is what I'm trying to say. Yeah. If we for example, we as black men, we all use slang. Do you understand? So we might be like, that is dope, or that is. Do you understand? How we might use a word, or that's bad, or even though it's good. Do you understand? But as much as we might use it in our own term, it still doesn't mean what it means. And to the wrong people, which is normally the racist people, it shows a sense of ignorance. You look stupid for using that word in that term.
But I just
do you understand? So for us to allow them to keep these words in these dictionaries, or allow these words to still exist in the manner that they exist in, do you understand? Even spelt the same, change the spelling, add 2 A's. I don't care how you deal with it.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
But for these things to be labelled the way they are, and then for us to have to change them like we have been and be clowned because of it, the same way with dress codes. Because they could afford the snazzy suit, so we had to dress down. We wore hand-me-downs to the point where baggy clothes was cool, and they doubted us for it. We sat and we made do with all these things that they've allowed us for so long. I believe that.
I'll give you another example.
Yeah.
Minus blackmail, which I think we'll probably all agree on, in another negative way, but everyone seems to overlook it because of what it does. Black Friday.
It's a stupid day.
You say it's stupid,
ridiculous.
But look what it's attached to.
Look at what it's attached to. Yes. Look at what it's symbolizing.
Oh, that was powerful.
Everything is reduced, and everyone is rushing, and everything must be of a lower price, and you can get this when it's not that usual price. It doesn't need to be called Black Friday.
No, it's just
it could be called anything. Sales Friday or something.
The original Black Friday was something to do with slavery, but we don't have to go back into all that.
But
we've allowed them to bring that forward, and people still rush forward to it every year. These are the things we need to get rid of. This should not be allowed. We're not going to look past this.
Are people rushing forward because it's Black Friday?
You're not listening to me. People are looking past what it's called because they're rushing for it.
Because they're rushing.
This is what I'm saying. No, but this is it needs to be. It shouldn't be allowed. Like, you have to understand is people will get away with whatever they think they can get away with. That's everyone in life. The reason we have rules or society is to stop people, or to keep them to almost conform to a certain level so that everyone can live together. If you're using terms like Black Friday, I don't give a fuck what day it is. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Black Thursday, Black Wednesday, and it's associated with people trampling each other every year. Every year they show non-stop. It's madness.
I'll be honest,
there's probably a lot of stores that aren't like that, but they go out of their way to show the madness.
I've never bought anything on a Black Friday, and not because the sheer fact of that it's reduced, but mate,
I don't agree with it.
I can go and I can buy something from the shop.
Call it White Friday. Why wouldn't they call it White Friday?
Because it's reduced. Because it's reduced, and the value of it is
and where it came from.
It's reduced.
What's the name of the day?
So then, why should it be okay to be? It shouldn't be okay to be using. It shouldn't be okay. This is my whole point.
Yeah.
We can look past it, but it shouldn't be allowed. Society shouldn't allow it. We've come too far. When they wrote that down, do you understand?
Yeah.
They thought it was allowed. It's not allowed anymore.
Yeah.
We're not running that no more. It needs to be taken down.
My point is, the problem that you guys are having with it, with the words, right? Have the conversation with the people to change it.
Okay, big up, Dan.
You get me?
Yeah, all right then. Yeah, we see the meaning. Love for that. Yeah, of course, yeah, sales Friday, exactly. But again, like I said, we can change it. Not change the meaning. We need to...
change the word. Change the word. Change the name of the day. This is my
whole point.
This conversation needs to be had. But you having the negative connotations with the day now, right?
It's hand in hand. That's the reason why they do it. This is the whole point. It's to keep you oppressed. It's to keep people subliminally thinking about black in a bad way. if every way you point at, if everything you point at towards in a certain manner or gesture, think about things you do. And like I said, we were talking about, it's not just word, because these are events in your life. Events people take seriously, weddings, do you understand? Funerals, anything else, maybe even christenings. Do you understand? Certain situations where you may have to wear a certain colour. Do you understand? Or you can't wear a certain colour, or you will have to use a certain word to dictate how pure or how bad it is.
What it is, like the nail on the head of what you're saying is that they're memorable days. Like literally, it's something that will stick with you forever.
And that's why they need to be taken away.
That's why it needs to be taken away.
Every time that happens in someone's life, it's taken away from us. Every time we have to go to a wedding at which witness that woman in all white because it was dictated so by racists, it's taken away from us. Every time we have to go and everyone wears black to a funeral, it's taken away from us because where it came from. And that is the power they still hold over us because they still have these traditions. They've taken all our traditions from us.
See,
that's why we have no tradition. They've taken it and have given us theirs.
My mentality and my psychological being does not attribute to that.
It doesn't take away from what it is.
For me, it is light and dark. It is light and dark, and people see light as good and dark as bad. That has been since the beginning of time with the sun and the moon.
Yeah.
You get me? That's been even from old tribes, even from Egyptian times. Light is good and dark is bad.
But where does it say that? When did you get that? That's what I'm saying, because it's not. Well, I've looked into that in Anunnaki. I've looked into ancient Egypt, and black wasn't looked upon as bad. Like
no,
if you look,
the dark, not the black.
The dark isn't,
the dark.
because you have to remember that everything was forged out of darkness. If you look at the Bible, it was dark, and then God made light. So it's not about badness. All goodness comes from darkness, bro. If you really look into it, you understand? You research black.
We are understanding, but not all civilizations.
But this is what I'm trying to explain. Why are these not brought forward?
Yeah.
Why are we having to live by their connotation of it? And that's what I'm saying. It's not okay.
It's not just their
but that's
connotation.
I'm telling you, like everyone knows the Bible, but no one thinks that you know what, that God made the world out of darkness.
I'm not.
Do you understand? No one thought about that. That black. Do you understand? Black, dark matter, black itself.
But
do you understand?
What I'm saying is it's not just coming.
If you believe in Christianity, do you understand? If you believe in
most civilizations,
if you believe in the Big Bang, then dark matter, same thing. The universe. It's just all the same thing. It all comes from black. Do you understand? Everything black.
It's coming from most civilizations. This is not just a new thing of light.
What we're talking about now, it's not though. It's not, because I said I've looked into some of them. I'm not going to say all of them, but the ones that I have looked into, dark is not associated with bad, bro. Black is not associated with bad, bro. Some people darken their skin. Some people wear black and mud over their own skin to represent how powerful black. I'm saying to represent how powerful dark skin is. Do you understand?
But then this is what I'm saying. Dark skin and the color black and darkness is two different.
But I'm talking about black. Obviously, but black and darkness is the same thing. We're talking about if God made light from dark, then he made it black. We made white from black. Do you understand?
Yes.
But this, I'm just saying darkness to use the word. I'm not using the word black. Do you understand? But I'm just saying, for example, that if we're talking about black and white, that it's only within medieval or English or Victorian, these sort of people, that I believe that black is a bad thing and white is a good thing. Because but you said that.
I said light and dark.
You said black and white.
I said light and dark. People associate light with the color white and dark with the color black.
But
that's been through civilizations all through time.
Are you talking about in terms of brightness, or are you talking in terms
I'm talking about in terms of brightness, bro.
Emotion.
No, in terms of brightness.
Of course. But I'm saying I'm saying dark is not always perceived as a bad thing.
Not always, but throughout most civilizations, a lot of civilizations have looked at dark as a bad thing.
Like who? Because if you look at the Egyptians, they use astronomy. So they use the night and they use the stars to dictate periods of time. To dictate, do you understand? Time, do you understand? Even time itself, do you understand? To dictate month, they use dark to do this, bro. So yeah. But anyway, let's get to it's an interesting topic. We're gonna use that, bro. When police stop you, they're asking for ethnicity. Why isn't it African or Caribbean? Oh yeah, I remember you brought that up before. Yeah, let's get into it anyway now because we spoke about that the other day. Shout out Swerve. We talk about they call you Black Brits basically. Why they ask you straight away like IC3 basically.
Nah, he's saying why is it Black African or Black Caribbean, and I get what you're saying.
But it's the same thing.
It's the same thing, but it doesn't need to be determined with the word black, if you know what I mean. If you're African, you're African. If you're Caribbean, you're Caribbean. So I get what he's saying.
Are there not white Caribbean people?
But why does the colour need to be?
That's what I'm saying. So it doesn't.
If you're going to take a picture and take a DNA, why does it?
That's
they're standing in front of you.
But that's the point he's making. If there is a white Caribbean or a white African, it doesn't need to say Black African, or it just needs to be African or Caribbean. Most forms you feel like it says what ethnicity are you? Black, Caribbean, black. It doesn't just say Caribbean, African. It always has.
This is
black.
because of them. This is because of demographics.
Yeah, but
this is because of. It's a demographical thing. If you just say African or Caribbean, you will not know how many people of that are.
It doesn't matter.
It's a form about you, bro.
It doesn't matter.
If they're asking, if you're filling out a form about yourself, yeah, and if he's talking about police stuff, so let's talk about police in specific. They're looking at you. That you don't need to tick a box saying what colour you are.
Yeah.
Do you understand? And furthermore, it shouldn't matter what colour. If they're going to take your DNA and they're going to take a photo of you, none of that should even be applicable on this paperwork anyway. So if you're looking at me, you can ask me for my name, you can ask me for my age, fair enough. You can ask me where I live, fair enough. You might even ask me how tall I am.
The point he's making, I get it, yeah, because if you did that for every race or every culture, ethnicity, it would be a big issue. Because if on the form it says, what are you, let's say, hypothetically, white English, white Irish, white... Mate,
yeah.
That don't happen on these forms. It's whatever is white, Asian.
Yeah.
Not what kind of Asian are you? Not are you
Asian.
Vietnamese, Chinese
Filipino,
Asian, Filipino Asian.
Are you Indian Asian?
Are you Indian Asian? It's just Asian, but then it's not. Are you Caribbean or are you black?
Why isn't it brown? Why is it
African?
not brown Asian? Are you light Asian? Are you yellow Asian? Are you brown Asian? Meaning, are you Chinese Asian? Or are you Indian Asian? No disrespect to no racism.
Yeah, like.
But why aren't we getting that as well then? No, I'm not asking you specific, but because you're kind of not defending it, but because you sound like you're leaning on it, I need more answers.
No, I need you.
It's not okay. None of it is okay. Like if it's white and then Asian and then black Caribbean, black African.
Black African.
Do you understand? Why wouldn't it be
African,
yellow Asian, brown Asian?
Yeah.
Because
why are we the only one that get a colour attached to us?
Yeah.
Because of
yeah.
That's
on
this
those
I'm
forms
trying
that
to
get a colour attached.
a colour and a country.
Because people are trying to define whether you are black from the Caribbean or black from Africa.
Why?
Because to do the demographics, to tell...
Why is it only us? This is let's do it the other way around. That's what I'm trying to say. So why don't the Asians get that? Because where I'm looking at here is there's different types of black, there's different types of Turkish.
Because if you're from Asia, you're from Asia.
There's different types of black. Yeah, so what? Look how big Africa is.
Yes, but you're either... They're saying, are you African or are you Caribbean?
Yeah, but the form don't say that. It says, are you black African
yes,
or
are you black African or are you black Caribbean? If somebody is Asian, they're just saying, are you from Asia?
Yeah, but
they're not in two different places. They're in Asia.
So if we're talking about eight, so why is it only one for Asia then? That's what I'm trying to say.
Because they're all in Asia.
They're not all in Asia because when they're stopping us, we're here. Like they're stopping us.
Yes, so that's why you have
black
British.
Africa or Caribbean. But I know, but they're asking us. I know, I hear that. That's perfectly fine. We're not taking away from that. But I'm saying to you, if
I haven't been stopped by the police in a very long time.
If I've been stopped here as a Chinese man,
I haven't been asked.
Why should I only have to tick Chinese and if I'm with him and he has to say whether it's Caribbean or African?
Because
this is my point. Because I might be Chinese, I might be Japanese, I might be Filipino, I might be
Vietnamese. Asian.
No, bro, you can say that, but you could say that so you're African. This is what I'm trying to say. You could be like, well, it's the same thing, bro.
It's the same thing.
Is there only one Asian island? Are Chinese people only on one island?
No, but there's hundreds in Asia. All of the islands are in Asia.
There are hundreds of small islands. Cool, then. So if you want to put it down to that, so then why would it have to be Black Caribbean separated then?
Yeah.
Because the Caribbean is in a completely different place from Africa.
Ah, cool. So all Asian islands complete together.
They're all in Asia.
Spread out because I'll get a map out.
They're
now.
all in
Bro,
Asia.
There's some Asian islands that people live on that are uncharted. So that means they're not in Asia. If you really want to get specific with it, do you understand?
If you separate the world, the way that continents work is that they're on the plates, right?
Exactly. Even better. What about black Asians? This is what I'm trying to say. Why do we have a black Asians then as well?
Because they're not specified.
Why are they not?
on
Why?
that form.
Oh, bro, this is beautiful. Why?
Why are they not?
Why?
Why are they not on that form? Because they haven't been asked for. They're in other. If you're black Asian, you would be in other.
I don't feel like it's going the right way anyway. Let's change the subject. I know what I'm saying. I think everyone knows what they're saying.
Yeah.
Black Lives Matter, innit? That's where we are anyway. Police brutality. I think we're going to start there. Who's got any thoughts?
So, I think I should put out immediately that I have not been supportive of the movement within itself from the beginning. I'm starting to turn to it now because of the message that it's putting out now is slightly changing from the message that it was originally. It's being much more clear what the movement is about, what it's for, and it's becoming much more defined. Leaders are starting to come out of it, which I feel that it was very much lacking before. I've felt that there was a massive leadership void, and there still is.
Yeah, of course.
I feel.
Of course.
And I feel that the movement could have done. there's a lot of lives that have been lost.
Can do. We're going to look at it
Yes,
from a
can
positive,
do.
manifestive place.
But there's a lot of lives that I feel have been lost by the fact that things could have been done a better way and sooner.
I'll have to change that. You see, one thing I believe about life is everything happens the way it happens. And as much as we could sit here and say we could have done it better, it could have gone a lot worse. Like, if you look at the first couple of attempts at Black Lives Matter, most of them ended up with rioting and looting and coming close to martial law. Do you understand? I remember in London they were shipping police from different parts of the UK. They were getting Scott. Do you understand? 16,000 police. It was all over the news. We're getting 16,000 more police officers from ever to help the police the streets of London. So, as much as you say we could have done more, I think that there could have been a lot more violence, and
of course,
I feel like the message could have been. It could have been
gone in
almost
10 million different ways.
It could have almost completely been blocked out. Do you understand? Because I feel like when you do things from a place of rage, and a lot of those places where it was felt like, I feel like in one sense I understand what you're saying, because Black Lives Matter feels a lot more established now. That everyone can speak out more freely with their emotions. It's not just an angry thing. You can speak normally about it. Everyone feels comfortable to speak about it. Do you understand? And comfortable to the point where if you don't feel like speaking about it, you can tell them to leave the situation. Do you understand? Racism has never been as open like that unless you was around a group of your own kind. I would believe. If I was around 8 black men and a white guy comes in and moves racism, attempt to get them. Do you understand? But now you could be one black guy with a group of white guys, and a white guy say something wrong, and the rest of, do you understand? The other white guys will jump on it. Do you understand? So I believe that it has become a bit more established now, but I feel like the path we have taken has been a necessary one, and I feel like even with things like what we're doing now, a lot more of this sort of situation will push people in the right direction, man.
I feel like when it comes to Black Lives Matter, I'm always going to support the movement, obviously. Never ever going to go against my own race and so forth. I feel like anytime us as black people want to speak out or be heard, not to like put negativity on it or anything, but I feel like they always overlook the situation and where it's coming from. So let's say, for example, we're talking about Black Lives Matter. First thing media portrays is rioting, things are being burnt down, violence. So then, when you think of Black Lives Matter, the first thing that you think of is
chaos.
The way that they're gonna act out towards it is chaos. We've obviously always tried to take different routes and so forth, but you never ever get heard. It always gets overlooked. As bad as it sounds, that is the reality of it. It gets overlooked. It seems like the only time that we'll either get a look in or something may be considered is with violence. Prime example right now. That police officer in America has been moved up to, 2nd-degree murder now? Because of the violence and what's happening.
Yeah, exactly. And 3 other officers. The 3 officers that held him down have now been done with a black murder as well.
But then what I saw a post.
Yeah, good looking at on that as well.
Yeah, I saw a post.
They need that. Push that up again, 1st degree.
Yeah, I saw a post recently, and I didn't even think of it like this. It was something along the lines of, they're willing to let the whole country burn down rather than arrest 3 of their own.
Yeah, I saw that as well.
When I saw that, I actually really thought about it to really think, wow, this is another 3 people. America's a big place, you know.
Yeah.
It's massive, yeah. For this to be going on for the sake of you to charge 3 people, which, as we know, if it was the other way around,
would have been done.
If this was the other way around and 4,
they would have been talking death penalty.
4 black people
around.
lent on a white person, yeah.
You'd have been lynching.
You're not here no more.
Murder.
Listen, you would have been done already.
Yep.
Yeah, it would have been sealed, and it's on camera.
Yep.
All of this is on camera, and we're still going through the trials and tribulations of trying to get you charged with what you should be charged with.
I've seen something as foolishness, because obviously the first autopsy said that he had problems already.
Yes.
The second one said that obviously he was strangled, basically. Yes. And now the third one is apparently coronavirus.
No. So the second autopsy, there wasn't a third autopsy. The second autopsy found that he had coronavirus on the 3rd of April. The second autopsy, but it said that he just had it.
Yeah, but you see, even something like that, for example, what relevance does that serve in my man's death?
It's they have to check for it.
Yeah, cool, but that's not his reason of death.
But it's the media. This is the problem with it's a media.
I know what you're saying, but you see where I'm coming from. Like, what relevance does them saying
it doesn't?
This is my point. So
but
why
the
even
media,
mention it?
The media are going to mention it because the media needs to sell stories.
Yeah,
that's
this is what I'm saying.
The media they're working for the man. That's why. That's what it comes down to.
It's a sell story.
This is the point that I'm making. Like, let it be the other way around, and an autopsy happened, and that person had coronavirus. Listen, forget the coronavirus. you 4 black people murdered this white man.
Yeah,
That's
but
all you'd be
no one's
hearing.
trying to hear none
That's
of that.
all you'd be
They're
hearing.
not going to say one damn thing about that
Forget
white
the
guy.
coronavirus.
You know that, bro. You know that your heart of heart. The Chinese guy got murdered by 4 black men. Even if it was 4 black officers, we could have 4 black police officers, dreads and all. Do you understand? You wouldn't hear a damn thing about the coronavirus. You wouldn't hear it.
I don't know.
Not at this time. I reckon you would.
You wouldn't hear
because
it.
it's
You
something.
wouldn't.
It's
I
something
don't
that
believe
sells.
so,
It's
man.
something that sells.
I reckon that's
that
something
is-
they're using to belittle the situation.
No.
And I reckon
That's
they're
all it is.
going to try and use that in some way to make this sentence more lenient. They're going to say, well, you know what?
No,
he
the
was
defence are
already
going
ill.
to have a field day
Well,
with it,
this
but
is
they
not-
would
that's-
still have had that.
That's
they
the
would still have
that's
had
the
that
reason
check
for us. You
anyway.
know what we're going to do is we're going to charge him with 2nd-degree murder, and we're going to get everyone involved. But we're going to say that he was already sick. So
was
regardless,
already
he might have died that same
He
day
might
or
have
2
died,
days
or
later.
he could.
It's funny that you put
Just because it
coronavirus in
wouldn't
there.
have made the news doesn't mean that the autopsy wouldn't have found it. So it would still have been used by the defence. The defence still would have had that information. The media, we now have that information. So now we're like, right, we didn't need to know that. But the defence would have known this anyway.
Big up, Joey.
You know what I mean? You get me? The defence would have known this. The defence will get all of this autopsy information regardless of the case. Now, the media portraying it as, oh my God, he had coronavirus. Yeah? To the masses now. Because the masses, most people don't look into things. Most people don't.
I believe
most
so,
people
Joey.
just take in.
If things were taken a bit more seriously, then maybe things wouldn't have got as far. I believe what Joey's saying is that basically is the fact that the right wing Trump and that is the fact that they overlooked LeBron and Kaepernick and all these sort of things, leading to what's happening with now. I believe so. Yes, bro. It could be a big part of that.
Yeah, it's basically.
Yes, because if you take a message seriously when people are saying it, especially when a man takes it so. He takes situation and he takes a knee during a national football game. He does something as peaceful as to do that. You can't get more peaceful than that. He's not booing, he's not swearing, he's not turned his back, he's taking a knee. Do you understand? And so for you
he's taken a knee, right? And this is where my line of thinking starts to
we don't know about the new King of England. Swerve, you have to say that when you're coming in next.
I've seen that. That's a very interesting discussion, and we'll have to
get another time. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You're coming in for that one.
But so a very
room going.
Yeah, so the way that I see it is that we have, and this is always been my main issue.
Yeah.
People have been trying to describe Black Lives Matter and trying to tell people that Black Lives Matter in a way that black people understand. Right? Kneeling during the national anthem, white Americans are very, very patriotic. Right? For him to take that stance to the national anthem, they're not taking in his message. They're taking it as he's kneeling during our national anthem. That's all that they're taking in, right? The message that he's doing, it's peaceful, it's beautiful, it's a lovely message, but it's not going to the people that he's actually trying to take.
So let's look at it. Afterwards, he's come out and come forward and said he's done this because of Black Lives Matter.
Now, psychologically...
So now, with this, it doesn't matter. With this, like, for example... I could find it disrespectful that you do anything during anything that I like watching. Do you understand? Like, what the fuck is he language? But what is he doing that for, or why? Do you understand?
Yeah.
But if you're telling me you're putting a stop to this, that basically like I can't believe in this anthem. Do you understand? Because you're saying, well, that's their national anthem. They love it, but if you listen to the, I don't know it word for word. Do you understand? But when they talk about land of the free, home of the British, etc., etc., do you understand? If you don't believe that, then I reckon you would take it. Like I don't sing the Queen's speech. I don't believe God. I
don't disagree.
God can save the Queen if he wants to do it, and there's probably a lot of people that believe that. But I don't believe that's my Queen per se. Me as a person. So I would take a nil to that if I believe that was a situation where a black man something. But this is my whole point. If you feel disrespected by that and the fact that I said that I've done this to make a stand during this, because obviously I'm trying to make this known. If I go on my social media, it's not going to be as serious as if I'm in a room full of people taking this situation serious and I say, you know what, this is what I'm going to do. Because me taking a knee during the Queen's speech is the same as you standing up as a politician in the House of Parliament.
But you see what
you're making a stand in front of all these people for everyone to know. The whole world has witnessed this. So then everyone to say, well, you're so disrespectful. No, it's not about disrespect. It's because I don't believe in this.
Yeah, you see what you said there. And that's for example, like when you said, I get what you're saying about them thinking you're kneeling during our national anthem. Yeah, this is my point. No matter what we do or whatever it is, even if it's peaceful, you try and put something across or portray it in a positive way. They're not interested.
Yeah.
All they care about is what's for them. That's my point.
But this is my point also.
They're
You have to make
it. And try and overlook the message.
Overlook the message to be like, all right, cool.
If
That's
you
what
want
you
somebody
want to do,
take your message
this
in.
is us. Why are you doing that?
If you want somebody to take your message in, you need to describe, because they are ignorant to your message. They don't know what your message is.
Ignorant for the last 500 years.
So then why are we telling them in a way? Why are we trying to tell people in a way that they're ignorant?
We're not going to tell them. We're showing them by the way we're doing
it now.
But that's why I feel the nil was appropriate.
But then
that's why so many people taking the nil is so appropriate, because once one took the stand, it's a situation where, for example, you're standing in a group and you might be in the army and someone's stolen something and you've got that brotherly armored corps, and now the lieutenant walks past you and he says, "Who's stolen this?" And M looks at me and he knows I've stolen it. So I've stepped forward. But he knows I'm going to get in trouble. So he stepped forward. And now I step forward, so now you step forward. And it's a full situation where everyone can step forward. That's how you make change.
That's how you make change.
That's why this ripple effect for the nil works so much. And that's why it's even being brought up now in this discussion. These are all pillars in the Black Lives Movement to help move forward.
My opinion on that is that if it was done another way, I feel it would have been done quicker and faster.
Exactly. That's exactly what we're looking for. Symbolic. Exactly. That's exactly what we're talking about. That's what we're looking for, Joey. Exactly what it's symbolic. And that's why I believe that it was necessary. That's exactly why I believe it was necessary. If you take a situation like that and you take your knee and you say, well, no, this is not okay, because like I said, it might have seemed disrespectful during it, because you've just taken the knee. It's like you're blatantly being disrespectful for the sake of it, and that can be seen as ignorant on any basis based on whatever colour you are. But then if you come forward after and say, you know what, I've done this because I don't agree with this anthem to this level, because our people are being treated like this does not apply to us, basically. Do you understand?
When he did that,
he does that to the point where other people have looked at it and they didn't look at it and click in. They always knew it, but they were scared to come forward and do it. So the fact that he's done it, remember what he went through? They took away his endorsement, they took away his job. He went hell and back, do you understand? He went through a lot, and he's probably still kind of trying to get back into it now. I don't know the ins and outs. If anyone does, and you can post it. But the fact that he went through that and they watched him, people are now coming forward, and it's now I openly spoke about the situation.
Could he have done it in a different way? Could he have done it differently?
No,
he couldn't have. Put up his fist.
I didn't know who Colin Kaepernick was until this happened.
If he did another gesture, do you think that people would have taken it better?
No, because I reckon if you use the Black Power symbol, I reckon they would have found that more offensive. If I take a nil, it means I don't stand for
Let
this.
me say
if
something.
I use a different gesture during your traditional thing, that could be seen.
I'm not saying.
No, but do you hear what I'm saying?
Is
do you hear what I'm saying?
During
no, you said what you just said. You didn't say during anthem. You said what if he raised his hand like the Black Power symbol? So I'm saying to you, is it not more disrespectful for me to use my traditional symbol when you're using your traditional symbol, or is that not more disrespectful than me taking a knee, saying basically I don't agree with this? They basically stepping out
at any time aside from the.
But how would it have made the impact that he did? It's just exactly what Joey said. It's about the symbolism.
He could have still been seen on TV. He would have been seen by millions if he did it.
We'll leave that one then. Like I said, I feel like you're defending the situation. If he would have went on social media like hundreds of others.
No, that's not what I'm telling. That's not what I'm saying.
Then how else can you do it then? How is he supposed to take a knee during the game?
So what do you think would have come across better than that then? Let me just hear. Give us an example though. Because I don't agree with that.
Exactly that, Kieran. That's exactly why I took the knee. Yes, exactly that, Kieran. If you don't agree with it, and that's why I believe that he done the right thing. Like if there is a song and it's meant to represent all of us as a people, and I don't feel like it justifies me. Do you understand? Then I'm not involved in it. If there's a group of people, if we're at a house rave and they're saying, "Yo, if you're from Manchester, make some noise," you don't make noise. Do you understand? Yo, you're from London, you make some.
I'm making noise.
Do you know, it's the same sort of situation. If you're doing something and it doesn't verify us, I don't have to say, "Yo, I'm from London." I just hold my corner.
Do you feel that brought the message to more
110%
to more white people?
Then who? Or is that
then if he done it at a different time?
Yes, because listen, they took his job from him. They took his sponsorships. That went all the way up. That went as high.
That doesn't sound like it.
Listen, they don't have to take it positively. This is the whole point. You don't have to hear something to like it, but it has to change. They're not going to like that we want more respect. They're not going to like that we're not going to stand for what they're taking. They don't have to like it, but they have to hear it. That when White himself, whoever he may be, heard that, and that came trickling down the chain. We have to cut everything to do with this guy now. The blacks have to believe that if they speak out, they will go broke. That is what they've done to that man.
But we still spoke out, and if he did in any other platform, any other stage, if he stood in a different room, if he did it at BET, it wouldn't have held the same.
No, he shouldn't.
If he did that at an awards,
why would he have had to do it at BET?
But you're saying he could have done it somewhere differently. You just said that it could have been somewhere differently. I'm saying he did it in the perfect place. It's the perfect place and the perfect time. It was perfect in my eyes. What do you think? I believe it was perfect. We can like to think differently, but if it was done in any other place at any other time, it wouldn't have had the impact it has. There is a lot of people that we had Michael Jackson, a man that has been one of the most powerful singers, even now after his death, who's openly spoke out about racism, about power, about black people, about how they've been treated, and we still don't really hear the message. Sometimes it takes something as powerful as this or a moment like that to make everyone wake up.
But it wasn't that moment.
It's exactly what he done.
It wasn't that moment that did it.
Oh, bro, we're not going to get into specifics because you don't know it. Well, people are still being killed now.
People are still being killed now.
And people are still going to be killed. So what? So what are you telling me?
Changes happen.
You're saying, oh, bro, who said anything about changes happening? We're talking about the impact in which it made. You're going off topic. No changes happen. We're not talking about changes here. We're talking about the impact that it's making towards. That's what we were talking about. Because we can go back in the comments from where it started, and I can say it. But we were talking about the impact that it made and Black Lives Matter. That's what we were talking about. We were talking about Kaepernick. We were replying to I think it was Joey's comment, exactly. So it's not about has what he done changed anything. No one man will ever be able to change everything.
I don't think it
takes all of us.
I don't think it matters, because Danny said, do you think it come across in a positive? I don't think it matters whether it came across positive or not. It needs the exposure.
Exactly.
It doesn't about the exposure. It's not about whether everything we do doesn't ever come across positive to them. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what we do. It never comes across positive. It's about the exposure. And you know what social media is like. It's all about exposure. Exactly. Exposure is what runs social media.
Exactly.
Had he have did it at a different time, it may not have got that exposure. The message would have been missed altogether.
Exactly. Like so many others.
Completely. So I feel like it was the perfect timing because it's got that exposure. Whether it's come across positively or negatively, we all know about it. We all know. If it got missed completely, it's irrelevant.
Exactly.
Counts to nothing.
That's the whole point. It's about making that change.
And what has changed?
What do you mean what changed? Our unity. All right, Black Lives Matter has changed.
The first thing.
The way we approach Black Lives Matter has changed since then.
Because of Colin Kaepernick.
I believe that there is a lot. It's become a lot more uncensored because of him. Yes, I do believe that. I believe that when it comes to Black Lives, there is a censorship that comes over it. And I believe that when he came out on the forefront and did that and said why he did that, I believe it came a lot more uncensored. And that is why a lot more people came out and spoke about it more freely. I think it's installed more
confidence for people to actually speak up.
It's uncensored. If it's censored, you can't speak about it.
And you know what everybody says, the prime example, which everyone can agree on, is everybody says, strength in numbers. If that message got missed altogether, some people that's speaking up might not be speaking up. Exactly. They might not have found their calling or confidence. So I feel like it's good. Whether it came across positively or negatively, with exposure and going forwards, with more people behind you as unity, the message will get there. Exactly. So I know what you're saying. Has it changed anything? It's not about... Nothing changes that.
I'll say it has, though. In some ways.
Yeah, in some ways.
Completely no. It hasn't stopped black people being killed entirely. No, not at all.
Nothing changes off the back like that, but you've got to start somewhere.
Exactly.
You've got to build a foundation before you can build upwards or onwards. You need to start somewhere. Without it, you're never going to get nowhere.
And even with that, there are a lot of pivotal moments that can take a situation one way or another. There are... As a black man, and I'll be honest with you, there's a lot of ways that he could have just come out and spoke, and they would have misused his language and made it seem like he was being aggressive or he was being racist. And that has been done countless times before. Do you understand? You could take a message where you're being pro-black and they will do it well. Because just like Black Lives Matter, you could take a sentence like Black Lives Matter and then it's, well, all lives matter.
Mm-hmm. I've seen
that exact concept. Like, you can come out and say, well, I want to empower my black people. And by say, oh, well, I want to empower my black people. Well, what about the rest of us?
Yeah, that's what always
happens. It takes just a nil. I'm not involved in this. I'm not saying nothing. I'm stepping out of this. Something as big as this, I'm not eating at this dinner table. Or I'm going to use my hands while everyone's using all this full dinner piece set.
Yeah.
Do you understand? It takes this for you to show me this is me. Do you understand? And whether you like it or not, this is what it's going to be. When you change an establishment, it's never going to be nice. Do you understand? It's never going to be nice. Like, peace is never made with peace. Peace is only ever made with war. So it depends on what sort of war we're using. I believe in peaceful and strategic war. I believe in dialogue. Do you understand? I was chatting with a few men the other day, and it was ignorance what I was hearing, but I understood it completely. Completely. Do you understand? I understood it of heart because I'm a black man, so I understand exactly why they're saying that. But I believe in dialogue. But at the same time, I don't believe that there's any sort of situation that you're saying it's their national anthem. I don't believe there's any situation that is too shaken for us to say, well, we're not taking part in it because you're not treating us right. I don't give up what it is. I don't care what. It could be the Queen Mum's birthday.
My point is,
if we're getting treated racially, but we're being racially profiled here, everyone taking knee while they're singing happy birthday. We're not standing for it.
I feel that things could have been done a lot differently and made a lot more progress if it was done a bit just a bit differently.
I get what you're saying, yeah, Danny. Yeah, but listen.
How? Let's hear how then. Because we used to say
with
something
more,
like
with more dialogue, with
between
more
who?
actual conversation.
The NFL is racist, bro. So between who? This I'm saying, who's supposed to make the dialogue?
These guys have interviews every single time they
Do you know
play.
about how much they get? Do you know how much they get fined? Do you know about fines?
What do you mean? So he can kneel during the national anthem, but he cares about a fucking a fine.
Bro, listen.
Come on.
If they fine you during the conference, not only will you get fined, but it doesn't necessarily mean what you're saying can get aired.
Yes.
Do you understand? Disclosure forms
that they'll cut out a live conference.
You're saying if, like, you want. You're saying, well, if.
Well, they have live conferences immediately after.
So you think that's not going to get all right? So what's going to happen? He's going to go on and say, well, you know what, guys? Black Lives Matter.
Yeah, and you know what?
It was a hell of a game. When black people are getting killed. No, bro, we're not.
Why are you talking about it was a hell of a game? No, Black Lives Matter.
After a game. So right after, bro, I don't believe in that. Right after I perform for the man, I'm going to go on their platform and I must go, no, I'm not doing that. I'm taking a kneel during what they hold sacred.
Let me ask you something.
I'm going to do that to make my point.
Alright, cool.
Do you understand?
Listen,
I'm going to hit you where it hurts.
Listen, whether it happened in the national anthem or he said it in a press conference, yeah?
No,
in my opinion, he was brave and symbolic.
Cool. Even if he said something during a press conference,
yeah.
In my personal opinion,
Exactly, Kieran.
Regardless of whether it's the national anthem or press conference, I feel like it still wouldn't have been perceived in a positive light. I know what you're saying. He might be able to have an explanation and say, "Listen, this is that. This, you know."
Big love, Kieran. Love for that, brother. Thank you.
That's what was needed. Because when he knelt, a lot of people didn't even bloody understand. They just did. Who's this guy with an afro?
That's the bit. The afro, bro. Listen, the afro wasn't a symbol.
They are not going.
The afro was.
They're not going to go and look into it. They're not going to go and find out.
If you see a black or a damn near black man with an afro take a knee during the national anthem, you best believe. I'm not saying you're gonna know right away because no one's gonna know right away because his form of protest wasn't with words, bro. So you can say, well, he could have chose to. He chose not to use words. He chose not to, and they made a hell of an effort. So for me, as a black man, if I'm gonna make a statement without words, it is gonna be my hair. I might not necessarily go, I'm gonna go pro black in my dresses. My hair will be an afro, and I'm gonna take a knee. And when you ask me, it makes sense. The hair, all of it makes sense.
As Black Lives Matter, I feel like it's
yes or no, yes, brother.
I feel like it's a lot. I feel like the way he did it and the way he come across it is a lot more powerful and a lot more meaningful than saying something in a press conference.
I think for black people, yes. I don't think for other races.
Yeah, but we're trying to unify ourselves.
We're trying to unify
other races.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on? Yes, we are.
Okay, because if the goal is to just unify black people,
no one said just.
No one said just. We need to start
can't add
together
words
first.
to sentences. That's when it becomes a biased sentence, bro.
We just said, strength in numbers. If you unify your own race first, you can move together.
And what you need to understand is the Black Lives Matter movement moves forward. It moves with every race, but us as a community,
I'm not disregarding any other race.
As much as I'm saying our movement is here. I'm aware that there's white people, Chinese people, Polish people. Do you understand? The people in the live chat now, from most of them, the 4 or 5 people that's in there now are multiracial. Do you understand? French people. Do you understand? And they're all pro-black. Do you understand? But that doesn't necessarily mean that we forget them. It doesn't necessarily mean because they're a part of it that we don't make ourselves unite even more so. Do you understand? Because we still unite. When they were using us as slaves in the Revolutionary Wars, do you understand? They needed us to help them get through, but it still made them stronger as a country. Do you understand? So we can still help or receive help from these other races and become stronger as a team. We are united. That is exactly what it's about. We're standing as a people saying, this is not okay. And in us doing this, in this bold act of unity, these other races are now coming forward saying, you know what, this isn't right.
This isn't right.
Because if we wasn't doing it as unifying ourselves, then it wouldn't be happening. If it was still just this person, that person, this person, then it would still be as scarce as it was before. The unity that we're getting from other races right now is based on us unifying ourselves.
It's based on us standing together and actually looking and they're saying, do you know what? Listen, a lot of people that are saying these Black Lives Matter, as bad as it sounds, some of them may not even have been aware to what's going on because it makes no difference to their life. So when you're saying other people can do it, listen, if other people don't know what you're going through, they don't know what they're fighting for. So if they see you together as a race and as a unity and as a group, they're going to say, listen, I understand what these people are fighting for. I agree. This is what triggers people off to look into things and they get They get intrigued and they're inquisitive.
And on a whole nother level now, yeah, we're looking at racism. When you're looking at a race and if you're looking at establishment like the police, there are a lot of people in England and in these countries that have faith in the police, in the police service itself. It could have come from stuff from way back where they helped them out. It could have been from just, do you understand? They have a situation, they have faith in the police. So then it comes down to a situation where why should black people be allowed to be treated like this? Like, that's the way they're looking at it. If it's one person, if there's not that sense of unity where it's like, you know what, I'm here as a white person, I've got Danny as a friend, I've got Em as a friend, I've got Andre as a friend, and all three of these people have been racially profiled or racially abused by these police officers some type of way, it must be the police now. Do you understand? Because as me as a white person looking at another white police officer saying this person he got my stuff back when I was robbed, they've helped out my mum, my sister, do you understand? I like these people. He's been attacked by police. Oh, well, black police, well, I don't know, he's my colour and he is a police, maybe he was doing something funny.
This is my point.
Maybe him? No, that's too many times. And it takes unity.
This
it
is
takes
what I'm
that
saying.
many
So
cases
it's
to
the
come
unity.
forward at once. Do you understand? To make people step forward and say, you know what, this is too much. It takes that. Until it comes to the point like now where you've got a George Floyd where it takes just one and we say, no, fuck that. One is not okay now. We're not dealing with none of these. Do you understand? Now they're bringing forward, is it Breonna Taylor? They're looking into her autopsy now. About her murder. Do you understand? Would that have happened now if we didn't do this for 4
No,
years?
it wouldn't have.
Do you understand? If it would have happened for George Floyd.
Probably not.
This is the whole point. It makes sense. It's all the unity.
This is
The unity is what's bringing us forward.
This is exactly what I'm saying. This stage that we're at now. What I am trying to say is I feel we could have been here so much sooner.
I don't think so at all.
things were done
I
a
don't think so
different
at all. I believe that it took what Kaepernick did, or around what Kaepernick did, to uncensor it, so that way we could speak about it so frequently, and we could speak about it so uncensored. Because before Kaepernick, it wasn't spoke about so broadly, it wasn't spoke about so openly, and people who spoke about it had their posts taken down more so maybe now than before, or were looked upon in a certain way because they did that. There was still that stagnation. If a black person that comes out and speaks pro-black, then it's, oh, well, he's being pro-black for the sake of pro-black. It was more just Black Lives Matter, all lives matter. Right now, I'm not going to say I know for a fact, but a lot of people that probably were saying all lives matter probably kind of get, after 2 or 3 years, yeah, those black guys probably do have it kind of. Do you understand? If you have that level of compassion, like I said, they're aware of it now, but it's taken all these steps to get here, and I believe that where we are right now is a good place.
Where we are right now is a good place. As I said, I feel we could have been here so much sooner.
How? Because you said there's no
dialogue. Through more dialogue.
How many
and
years
through
did
more
Muhammad
conversation.
Ali, Khalid Muhammad, Louis Farrakhan, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King come and speak with the greatest? But look at these people sat down and had big man, Nelson Mandela. Do you understand? The Dalai Lama. Look at all the big people. Do you understand? Within the world, and they sat down and they
changed in some way.
It's still not over.
But
so
it's still not over.
Changes, but this is what I'm trying to say.
All made changes in some way.
So that's perfectly fine. But I'm trying to say maybe we're past dialogue. Maybe dialogue only gets us a certain level of change. This level of dialogue, maybe that level of dialogue without whatever extra we're doing now.
No objective
You can't say
is
no.
what the problem is. We had no objective up until this moment.
We have always had an objective. Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives
As soon as
Matter
it started, it ended. It was about them brutalizing us. That is all. It's always been the same objective. So you can't say, well, it doesn't. Oh no, it hasn't changed. Black Lives Matter have started because black people are being brutalized either by racists or by the establishment. Do you understand? And it's always been that. It's gonna stay that. Do you understand? And it will never say, well, black male lives matter. It's not gonna be, well, only black baby. It's gonna be black lives. If you're a black person, any person, it's not even just black, any person of colour. It's an ethnicity thing, really. And I feel like that's why more people are getting involved. Do you understand? It should be made equal rights. It was black people that marched for equal rights. And that weren't just for black. Cause we could have marched for black rights. Maybe we should have. Not to be racist. Do you understand? So in that sense, maybe you could say, oh, we could have been further forward. But I'm saying for where we are right now, understand that we're taking, I think we've done pretty well. I don't think it could have happened any other way.
I think it could have been done better. That's my opinion. You know what I mean? I feel that there's much more dialogue that could have been had much sooner. It could have been a clearer message.
I'll be
The
real
message
with
could
you,
have
yeah.
been
You can only talk.
It could have been very simplified.
You
It
can
could have
only
been very
talk to so
simplified
much to someone
where
who don't want to hear, bro.
Where nobody could have had any questions. Because right now, the people who are marching now, who weren't marching before, they don't have questions because the dialogue and it's very clear in their head.
What dialogue is clear?
It's very clear.
Tell me what dialogue has
What do
been
you
made clear
mean?
from
A
you.
man has died and it's very.
What
very
dialogue
clear-
has been made?
It's very, very
Tell
clear.
me what dialogue. That's not dialogue. The
what do
same
you-
thing that's happened before. What dialogue has
What
been
do you mean?
made?
People are talking to each other
Bro,
now.
you're
People are talking
that.
about things.
You just said that it should be handled
Do
differently.
you know how
People
many
are
black people's died and it's been spoken about and brushed under
People
the carpet?
haven't been talking to each other.
So it's unity then.
So it's unity then.
Between everyone.
That's exactly what we
Unity.
said.
But I've said, what I've said is that the message could have been given a different way to get everyone to this stage we're in now.
They wouldn't have
much
listened.
sooner.
I genuinely believe they wouldn't have listened, bro.
I believe they would have.
No,
You're a strong believer, I'll give you that.
Yeah, this was it. You see, Danny, have you spoke to a genuine racist that doesn't like you?
I've spoken to a few people who I believe were racist before.
Cool then. So that means you haven't met a genuine racist that doesn't like you.
What do you mean?
If you meet a genuine racist that doesn't like you as a person, then you understand. Then there's no level of dialogue that guy will ever understand. Unless you lock him in a room and he develops Stockholm syndrome. Do you understand? And you literally lock him up.
Level of dialogue.
Oh, bro, man, you don't understand racism, bro.
There's
Listen,
always
you
a level
obviously
of
don't
dialogue
understand
you can have
racism.
with
Then.
people. Always.
One of my friends,
always.
I'll give you a prime example. One of my Asian friends went somewhere the other day, It's not even off topic. It's the point that
run with it.
Andre's making. He said he went somewhere, went as himself how he always is, vest, whatever, his shorts and whatnot. First thing the white man said to him, because he was on his own and there was 3 of them, why's your pants down there? Pull them up, you're not no nigger. That's the first thing they said to him. Why is that need to? What has that got to do with what he's come to do? But that's what they've associated.
What did he? And what was his action from there?
He couldn't believe what he was hearing.
But what did he do?
He stayed as he was. He said, "This is me. It's nothing to do with black. This is how I dress. This is me." But the point he's making is, if you come across somebody like that, that is naturally
Real
like
racist.
that,
There's no convincing them. Oh, you know what? You're all right. Or you know what? That way of dress sense is okay. You know, I think I'll allow it. Do you understand? If you meet a man who says don't wear your trousers low,
and this is...
listen, hear me now. If you meet a man or an elder man or a gentleman who says, you know what, even you as a person who doesn't agree with someone who wears their trousers low from behind, there is no way I'm going to get you to the point where you be like, you know what, yeah, you should wear your trousers low.
I believe.
Or you know what, I accept that you wear your trousers low and you should be happy about it.
I believe there's always a
happen.
discussion. There's always a discussion to be had because the
bro,
reason that people have disagreements and don't believe in something is because they have objections to it. You get their objections out. What are your objections
We're
to
talking
it?
about
What
race.
don't you like about
We're talking about race, bro. This is what I'm trying to explain to you.
It works
like-
with race as well. I'm black. What don't you like about black people? Why is me being black a problem to you?
And how do you gain from that?
how do you gain from that? What are you going to get?
What do you
from
mean?
that?
I
You
just
get
don't
those
like your skin colour. I've always been told from my family that you people are this. I associate your people with this because what the media
Alright,
tells
well-
me, I hate you.
Well, the media is wrong. I'm going to tell you what I'm all about.
I hate you. Everything
I'm
I
gonna
see,
tell you what
I
I'm all
hate
about.
you.
Listen.
I still
if you're-
fucking hate you. You seem like a decent fella, but you're a black guy, so I'll never be your friend. I fucking hate you. You can't get past that barrier. It's not coming. It's not gonna happen.
If you don't even have the conversation, you are never going to cross that barrier.
Yes, you will. You can never cross that barrier. You see the same
That
way.
person-
Let me
that
say something.
person,
You
if
see
you
the way
change the
Rosa
rules for
Parks
that
went and sat
person-
on the bus without
you change the
asking,
rules for
and
that
black
person-
people started getting on the bus?
Yeah.
Do you understand?
If
you
you
see the way
change
she
the
done
rules
that?
for that person,
Come on, bro,
that
man.
person's still going to be a
I'll say it
racist,
again.
just with the rules
Do you
being
see
changed.
the way Rosa Parks got on the bus and sat on it without asking? That's the way you make the change. You don't come and ask to sit down. Because if she would have asked to sit down,
It's no.
the person would have said no. And there would have been no change made. So you're saying they're saying dialogue. It's past that. It was past that in
you
the
can
50s.
you can do it. Sit there or have the dialogue though.
How?
Have the
How?
dialogue
I'm saying
because
how? 'Cause you're
if
saying
you
it
change
could-
the rules,
bro.
if I tell you you can't leave this house and you want to leave this house, yeah, you can't leave this house. That's the law, right?
There's nothing you can say that's going to make him not leave the house.
Do you want me to give you a prime example of what this situation is? Yeah.
Who's in the house? Fix. Yo, Fix, what going?
Kyrie,
Sorry, bro.
yeah.
Taps, what going, my brother?
I don't
Did we miss something?
agree, yeah. I feel like it's got to a point which what we was probably brought up on, yeah, is who can't hear must feel. You're talking about dialogue.
Yeah.
You know how much talking's been
This is what
going
I'm
on
saying.
for
For
years.
years, bro.
I want to
Yes.
actually
Talk
change
shows.
the minds of people.
It's happening now.
Dialogue doesn't work,
It's
bro.
happening
The only
now.
reason why it's happening now is because they're seeing action.
They're seeing
I
The
want-
reason why these
Yes.
police officers have been charged is because they're seeing action.
Okay, can I answer?
This is
Let me
exactly
ask
what's
you
going
a
on
Charge
right
would
now.
never have been changed without these
110%.
these
The
steps
other
that's
three
been
officers
taken.
would not have been brought to justice
It
without
would have
these
just
steps
got
that have been
brushed under
taken.
the carpet. Would have
Because
got
they know
left.
it would have
been-
kept going.
would've
They
kept
would have
going.
come on, bro. If they knew it was out of their control, they had to
Dialogue
make a
would
change.
never have changed
Never.
that sentence.
Never.
Never have changed
Never.
that charge. Impossible. What
Never.
dialogue?
Dialogue probably wouldn't even have got a second autopsy. Let's be real about it.
Do
Do you understand? If we
reckon
sit down and think about it, do you think there would have been a second? When have you ever really heard about a second
the
autopsy?
family paid for it?
Private autopsy.
Private autopsy.
Even
yeah.
better than that's
Yeah, that's
that's
private
that's- yeah,
autopsy.
right, even that case then.
You get me?
Even better than even better, but even that in itself just
I-
says,
my
I know
goal-
that my man was murdered.
And
Literally,
my goal is to open and expand the minds of
You're
people.
not saying how, bro, because I'll be honest
To
with you.
speak with
If
them
I'm
and
gonna
get their objectives out. What are your objections? What don't you like about this? What is your problem? What is actually your issue?
Cool.
Yeah, go on.
Is there? Do you like Marmite?
Yes.
Is there anything that you don't like that for the sake of you don't like it? Not because you're lactose intolerant or allergic that you just don't like. Because this is where we're gonna go with it. People are people.
And freedom of speech is freedom of speech. Everyone is entitled
Everyone's
to
entitled
think
to
how
an
they want.
opinion.
You can't stop anyone from thinking how they are. So that's why dialogue in this sense is pointless. My
You
whole
can
situation,
give people a better
my
understanding.
whole situation. Listen, it's past a better understanding because it's already been put on the plate so many times. Like, if you don't feel compassion for your fellow man, then first of all, what type of person are you? Regardless of what race you are. So it's not something that I feel that needs to be explained. But then if you go forward and you can see a certain level of tribulation, because it's not just London, it's everywhere in the world. You see the way black people are treated. I've not been many places.
Alright,
but when I
cool.
go to certain places, I see the way they're treated.
Many people don't
Forget
see it.
that. Yeah, let's use.
You have to. You got
let's-
it everywhere you
No,
live.
you don't.
All right, cool.
Many
Let's
people
let's
don't
use
see it,
this.
bro.
Let's use
If
the
you
prime
don't-
example of what this uproar has actually been cause of.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right,
yeah.
cool. My man's died. His neck's been lent on and so forth. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it started with dialogue. Yeah. It started with everybody saying this is wrong. What you did was wrong. That didn't change his charge. That's
What do you-
dialogue.
what
That's
do you
dialogue.
mean?
You know, dialogue is what exposed it. Action is what
You
caused
can't,
the charge
you
to get
can't
pushed up.
say that.
That he can say.
I can
You
say
can't
that.
say
I can
that
say that. I can
because
say that.
You
because
can say
there's
that.
I
no
can say that.
you can't
That's fact.
you
That's
can't
fact.
say because there has only been action in this situation, right?
How many people
What are
was
you
talking
talking
about
about?
it?
Yeah, there was a
Everybody
lot more
spoke
talk
about
about
it.
George-
This was
There was a lot
globally
more
known
talk
of what
about
had
George
happened
Floyd
to him.
before any of the
Yeah.
rioting
This-
started.
The rioting started on day one. The rioting started on the protest started on day one.
Protest, all right.
The
cool.
protest
All
started-
right,
the
all right,
protest
all right,
started
then.
on day
Not
one,
Pro-
and the riot
protesting is
started on
talking.
day two.
All right then, talking is past talking.
Past talking. It's the actions that everybody took.
If they would have charged them on the first day,
You can't.
you can't charge.
You
someone
can't
for murder
charge a
on the
police
first day.
officer on the first day. They get a cool down period in America. It's a stupid law. It's a dumb law.
All right.
Every police officer gets
All
a
right,
cool down
cool.
period.
All right, cool.
After
You-
any incident
no problem. You
of
get a
police
cool down
brutality.
period. Yeah, fair enough. You get a cool down period. No problem. What my man got charged with is still wrong of what he committed. Doesn't matter about the cool down period. What he got charged with is wrong.
Exactly.
Forget the cool down period. Cool. Have your cool down period. Get charged with what you're supposed to be charged with.
But the thing is, right? People could have pushed. He got charged with third degree murder and manslaughter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People could have still had the conversation and
I'm
said
done with
it
this
should have been two.
conversation
It
stuff.
should have been second degree.
Yeah, they would have
could
said.
have.
They
They
would
could
have
have.
said.
And they might. And then if that had happened and that had failed, I'd have been like, do you know what? You man are right. Action.
Why waste time? Why waste time?
We have to
No,
realise
but
that-
now you're saying
All
it's
right, all
only
right,
because
all right,
of the
all right.
riot.
Do you
But
believe-
you
all
can't
right,
say it's
do
only
you
because of
believe
the
in
riot.
momentum? Do you believe in momentum?
Of course.
All right, then. So then, the momentum of the rioting is what caused it to be pushed forward.
Yes.
I don't believe
This is what
so.
I'm trying to explain to you.
I
You
don't
said
be-
you just said yes
no,
to that
sorry,
earlier.
no,
All
sorry,
right,
it's
then,
not.
all
I
right,
don't
all
believe
right,
so.
all right.
It's that
But
I
that's what I'm
don't
saying,
believe that's
we're
the
gonna go
only
back
way
and
it would have
we're
happened.
I'm not
I
going to
don't
say
believe
the
it's
only way, but
way.
we're saying that is the way to build most momentum because dialogue, like I said, like dialogue has been going on for years and not a lot has changed. Like, our activities have been criminalised for way too long, bro.
The type of dialogue that's being had, the type of dialogue that's being had is not the type of dialogue that I feel needs to be done.
There's no type of dialogue that can be done over the situation, and that's what I believe.
Well, I mean,
believe that
what
if-
are we? Okay,
if-
what
if-
is gonna happen
if
from
someone,
here?
If someone is colourblind, then they're colourblind. If they see something as green and you see it as blue, there is nothing in your mind there's nothing in your mind or your vocabulary or in your heart that is going to change that for that person. Because we're talking about someone seeing colour. That's exactly what it is. So if someone sees something and they believe
if I see this as blue, right, and you're telling me it's red, and you're giving me all of the evidence that it is red, right? You're giving me all of the evidence, and your logic is sound. Your logic is so sound that I am the one that is seeing this wrong.
you're colourblind. So
Yes,
to you,
but
it will always be what it is.
Yes,
It doesn't matter.
No, this is
This is what I'm trying to
it
explain
does.
to you.
Hold on.
It does.
Let me complete my analogy. If I see this is red. He's drinking cranberry juice. Cranberry juice is red. I see it as blue. Both of you two are coming with sound argument, logical discussion, so that I realize that I'm seeing this wrong. But I'm colorblind. That's something that I can't help. But I'm in my mind, I'm seeing this wrong. I now understand. If I see the color blue, if I see the color blue, that is actually red. Because you've given me the logic and sound reasoning to make me realize, you know what? Actually, I'm wrong.
That's rubbish. That's rubbish because there's no logic. There's not. Listen, there's no. If I sat down and spoke to you for 5 years, it can't take away what you've learned for the last 28.
Listen,
Of course it can.
This guy's crazy.
Of course you can. Of course you can.
that
If you
was
come
the
with
case-
logic
yeah,
and sound
if
reasoning.
that was the
Of
case,
course.
if that was the case, there'll be no racism now.
yes.
No, because some people,
Yes.
people do not have the open mind. People are not having
it's
their minds
instilled
open.
into people's mind. There might be some people that don't realise it's instilled into their mind, but it's instilled into
So
their
you
mind.
believe that
And there is
no person
level of
who's
logic.
no person who's racist can have their mind changed from them being racist?
I didn't say that, but I said if I'm going to
How-
change the perspective on racism altogether, I'm not going to be looking at it per person.
I need to look at what's the masses are gonna respond to. If I step forward and I say Black Lives Matter, the white people that aren't racist will understand.
The white people
and the ones that don't understand are the ones that need to get to work on. But if I have to sit down and get into dialogue with each and every group, then it's not gonna work. Do you understand? I shouldn't have to tailor my message for every person, because then it's definitely not going to work. Because I'm going to be saying different things to different people. I can't meet people based on their own demands, regarding if I matter or not. I matter. Period. All you have. If I sit at the table with the man and we're talking about something, my opinion matters. Do you understand? If we're talking on the level, my opinion's going to matter. If I say something, right, that's going to be held in regard. It has to be. There's not, all right, well, I'm going to pity pat around M. And, well, M, what do you like? Well, we could do this and do that. And, but, D, we can do this, that. Because then what happens is, once I've pity patted around you and him, my message becomes tainted. Do you understand? And regardless of what you think or what you think, I matter.
Your message.
I matter. Do you understand? So that's all that needs to be said. There's no tailoring it to anyone or sitting down and understanding. I don't care what you don't like about me.
Let me put
that doesn't make a
this
difference
way,
to me. You need to understand that the way we're being treated is not okay. You don't have that. I might
Okay,
not like you, but we're not doing that to you.
Black Lives Matter. I don't care. I'm a white person. I'm sitting here. I don't care.
All right. Okay, cool.
You care after the writing. When your store gets...
I still don't. I hate black people even more.
Yeah, I know, but you'll be...
Cool.
The police won't do it to us. This is what I'm trying to say. It don't matter if you like us or
not.
Go on.
Forget that. Cool. Repeat what you just said again.
Black Lives Matter. I'm a white person. I don't care.
Cool. So if I said to you, why don't you care? What would you say?
Me personally, I'd have a conversation, but that's
no. We're doing it now. Like, let's say hypothetically. What would you say in that situation? Why don't you care?
I don't like black people because of everything that I've been taught. The media's taught me that they're lazy. The media's taught me that they're...
Your mum, your dad.
Yeah.
Granddad, no worries.
My parents, everyone's
no problem. So if I sat there and I explained to you all the great things that black people do and that we're not lazy and we've got iconic figures and so forth, how would you feel about that?
I'd have listened, I've had a discussion, and I'll take it in.
All right, cool.
I would have a better understanding because I'm not just getting it from my parents who hate black people, from my friends who hate black people. I'm getting it from a black person or a person who is actually black and is telling me, oh, there's something different. Now it's down to the person themselves if they're actually going to open their mind, but now they have the opportunity to do so.
But this is my point now. I'm not trying to engage with everyone on a one-to-one level like that.
This is what that was going to be my next question.
The way I say it is if the white, the Chinese, the Asian, the other Asian, the Polar, whoever, the Russians, the Germans, if they don't have to do that, if they're not looked upon a certain way when they enter a room, if they're not frowned upon, if they're not maybe walked across the road from, or maybe clutch the child or clutch a person. If these things aren't happening to them, why should I have to explain myself? Because the way I look at it is, if you look at every nationality around the world, everyone has done wrong, and it's all been on front page.
I get what you're saying, Danny. I get what you're saying.
You don't have to tailor it person to person.
But you
can tailor it to a group of people.
I get what you're saying.
No racism intended. But we're talking about what people have done terrible things on the earth, and we're talking about what people have done terrible things to the planet,
taking that approach. This is my personal
genocide. Then we're dealing with the people that are judging us.
This is my personal opinion. I get your approach to what you're taking. Yeah, taking that approach. I'll be honest with you. Yeah. We still might. I feel like we wouldn't see change in our lifetime.
We're not going to see any dialogue. There's no change.
That's too slow.
Listen,
we might not see change in our lifetime now.
When the English acquired what they acquired, did they do it through dialogue?
No.
We have to understand is if you want to take something that's been taken, you must use the same force that it's been taken with.
Well, then are we going to go to? Are we actually going to have a war and take over? Are we actually going to have a war? And are we going to? Are we looking for black supremacy or are we looking for equality?
Well, let me explain to you what it is. Yeah. It's not, are we going to have a war? Is it going to come to a war?
Yes.
Because it doesn't have to be that. The same way they didn't have to come and do what they did to us and they don't have to do what they're doing now, it doesn't have to continue.
But you're saying that people's minds are not going to change.
I'm telling you what I'm saying. I'm not telling you people ain't going to change. I'm telling you with your dialogue way, they're not going to change. I'm not saying there's not going to be any change, period. I've said there's been enough talking. We have had so many eloquent speakers. I've sat and watched so many eloquent speakers and felt chills down my spine with the speeches. If those white people, and this we're talking 30 years ago, Farrakhan, do you understand? Khalid Muhammad, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King. There's so many. Bro, but this is what I'm telling you now, that there is these things have got millions of views. So I'm not going to sit and say that every person I watch is black. I'm not going to sit there and you can watch. And the thing is, in most of these chat rooms or whatever, these talk shows or when these folks will happen, the majority of the crowd was white, and there was a lot of open discussion regarding a lot of questions. If those people that have grandchildren now and their grandchildren still haven't changed their opinions, and we can stop. I'm going to say they haven't, because
if so many people can stand and die, because we're talking about martyrs, people that have been assassinated in the name of black power or black freedom or black equality, if you really want to talk about it, have been murdered. If these people with open ears, because you hear about a death, if a powerful white person was to die tomorrow, Donald Trump or Kim Jong-un or Vladimir Putin, all these people that you might not necessarily want to research for the sake of it, they're not within your race, but if they die, you'll hear about it.
You'll hear about it straight away.
And you'll feel a compassion for their people. Do you understand? Go on, did we what? Go on, let's hear it. Did we what? Because you're going to say what? Gaddafi. Gaddafi was one. I love Gaddafi.
Yeah.
Do you understand? I believe what.
Did you hear about it?
Yeah, of course I did.
Did white people hear about it?
Yeah. A lot of people weren't happy about it though.
No, but I'm saying, did they hear about it though?
I don't know. I don't know if everyone heard about it, but I'm not saying I don't know if that made a change.
You're trying to say if Vladimir Putin died, then we'd hear about it and people would know about it.
I'm talking about people that have died for a movement and it's standing for something. That's what I'm talking about. Like, if you talk about...
But what movement does Donald Trump stand for? What movement does Kim Jong-un stand for?
Kim Jong-un stands for his nation, the same that what Vladimir Putin does for his. I'm just talking
they're not standing for a movement.
I know, but I'm saying, for example, I'm not.
If Tommy Robinson died, let's take Tommy Robinson for example.
All right, go on then.
Right, if Tommy Robinson,
because I love the fact that you picked an open racist.
Yeah, do
you understand? And we're talking about pro-black, and you pick someone that's
because
I'm trying to use people that are influential of another race that have done things that people might see as good or powerful figures that are running nations, not just some EDF or EDF arsehole who's running around sprouting racist nonsense. So you could go where you're going with it, but it's not going to be good. I'll tell you that now. But those are all open racists. They said we're not talking about derogatorily negative people or negative positions. We're talking about people that have pushed forward for positive situations. People that have died for black, like literally people that have become famous and spoke on high stages and high platforms and orchestrated million-man marches, things like this. People have died for this movement. And these same people, these educated, Huey P. Newton, even Black Panther, there's so many names. Do you understand? That have sat down, educated people and had these dialogues. Do you understand? Put down, started with the guns. And did what you said. You know what? Fuck language. Just done with the writing. Dialogue. Nothing's changed.
I can't agree with nothing has changed. I just can't agree with that. I feel that through what they've done, so many more people have opened their minds, and we have a generation now where we have so many more people of other races who understand what we've gone through, what we are going through, and want to make a change.
Bro, all right, you're talking about people understanding. What change did it make? You're talking about dialogue for the change in order for us to become looked at as equal.
What changes have been made? Civil rights have been changed. Actual laws have been changed because of them.
I know that, but I mean, what actual change are happening? Because the civil rights laws are down, yes, but black people are still being murdered. The laws have been made. So now we're realizing that actually we need more protection. Now we're realizing we need more protection. So from your saying, so now we're realizing it hasn't actually changed then. Because if we're now realizing something needs to change, then that's not an actual change.
No, changes have been made. They need to be adapted.
What? That's what I'm trying to say. Well, all right. Well, based on
doesn't mean that no changes happen.
Well, based on what you said, then we've already used dialogue, so that means dialogue should be adapted.
We can adapt. We can adapt what we are saying.
Yes, there's
many words to use. There's many things to say. There's many things that we can say. Okay, do you know what? Right? This thing we've got. This thing has changed. Now we need this thing to change because we didn't realize that.
We're doing that right now.
This is what I'm saying. Right
dialogue. Now. All right. So you said dialogue. Dialogue with who then? Who then?
Dialogue with everyone.
How does that work, bro? How does that work? Because what you're saying right now is it sounds to me that you're saying is a lot of a generic dream, and I'm telling you right now, if black people continue on the path they are now, our message will get through. And this is not a generic dream. This is things that actually happen.
This is happening.
Like you're saying, well, we want dialogue. If you don't have a way of dialogue, because right now we're trying
I have an objective. My objective
because I agree with dialogue, but I agree with violence as well.
Is for the police to be made more accountable.
Listen, let me tell you something here.
For racism to end, right?
Yeah. I get what you're saying.
But hold on, sorry. For police to be held more accountable,
Black Lives Matter. We need racism. Sorry, bro. Racism, police brutality, just a lot of different things at the moment.
Yeah, we need police brutality to end and for police to be held more accountable.
We've been needing this for years.
No.
I've been needing this.
I don't want that.
I want that.
I want that.
I want racism.
I want less racism.
I want
when the less racism comes, then the police brutality goes.
I did say that before.
Do you understand?
I did say that.
It's an ongoing effect.
I know
you said that afterwards, though, but you said first that you wanted police.
I mean, I'm not listing things in order of importance.
But I only have one goal. Because you see, once that racism is gone, then everything goes where it needs to go.
So then
that's my.
So then we go back. So then we
once
go back
those
to
police aren't racist,
it's equality right now.
Wait. So then we go back to my point earlier. You can riot right now. Yeah, you riot.
Yeah.
And you get a law change or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Is that going to change a racist from being racist?
It might change. It might stop a racist from being racist.
But so can dialogue.
No, it has proven that it doesn't work.
Listen, let me tell you something here.
No.
Right now, I'll be honest with you, it's proven.
It's proven
not that violence is right, but it's proven that violence works.
Right now, whether it's going to change a racist,
racism exists because of racists.
All right, cool. Whether it changes a racist, whether it changes somebody's racist opinion or not about black people, yeah. What you need to understand is, going forward, they're going to understand if this happens again, this is the consequences.
Exactly.
It's not going to happen as much.
It's like your child. You grew up in a black household.
No, the question is, can you deal with the consequences?
That's what they're going to say.
The way I see it, the way I see it, yeah, is
what did Trump say? He's just going to start shooting people.
Well, the way I see it is, we've been dealing with the consequences. Like I said, we're making a stand telling you we need to stop.
Not you, the racists.
But the racists are going to start shooting us. In other words, yes. So what I'm trying to say is, they've been shooting us.
No, but what I'm saying is...
So this is what I'm saying. It's not a question of...
Are we then solving the problem?
If it needs to. Yes, we are solving the problem.
How does that solve the problem?
Listen,
we're trying to end racism.
In order to make a stand...
We're trying to end racism. That's what you said you want.
I said I want to make a stand. I said black lives need to matter. I'm not bothered about ending racism. Because I said that every person is himself and you can't change their opinion. I didn't say you want to change every racist mind. I'm not bothered. I might be a racist. Because everyone might have racist. I've said Paki before. I've said it to my friend. I might be a racist. I don't think I am. I love. Do you understand? I've got Asians that I consider family. I've got Polacks I consider family. I've got Moroccans. Do you understand? I've used slurs towards them. They've used slurs towards me. I might be undercover racist. So it's not for me to cap anyone's speech. But you cannot treat me a certain way because I'm this race. This is what it's based on. And if I have to riot. And I'm not saying that writing is always the answer, because I do believe in dialogue, but just dialogue is not the answer. I believe that there is cause and effect. So I will speak only so much. And then once I hear that I'm not being heard, then I will show you something. And then we can speak again. All right, so now how are we going to run it? Because this is the way I run my life. Do you understand?
Of course it is.
This is the way I deal with my child. Do you understand? This is the way it has to be. I can't sit down and speak so much, because when you're speaking to deaf ears, it will only ever fall on deaf ears.
Do you know how many? I'll give you a prime example here. Do you know how many times? Listen,
a friend is never going to change the mind of a person who was raised by their mum. By their older brother, their older sister, their mum, their dad. Their granddad, their uncle, a friend cannot change the mind of someone that's been embedded by their entire family.
Do you know how many times I've come across?
No,
I have been.
They can pretend to you.
But
the realism is it can't be that.
Because I have been. My thoughts as a child are completely different from my family, from the people that were around me. My thoughts now are completely different because of my friends.
All right, cool. I'll give you another example. Forget that, yeah. Let's use something slightly off topic.
You've been alright with white people.
Let's.
When I was a kid,
let me give both of you an example.
You haven't been bred not to like it. Like your mum and dad can move around white people. They don't slide their teeth, or they don't look at them a certain way.
My views have been changed.
No, but you're not listening. But it's a different degree of racism. Let's put it like that. Because the way the white racism is looked upon with black, it might not be the same way your dad.
Forget the racism.
Look, made or your mum made it sound to, or whoever it might have been in your family, or whoever might have been around you that made it.
This is a prime example. How many times have you been in situations? Yeah, all of us have been in a situation. And you've probably said, my man talks too much.
I like that. Shout out Vanessa, rights is the language of the unheard. That's exactly
how many times have you been in a situation?
He don't hear will feel.
How many times have you been in a situation you said, my man talks too much, he ain't going to do nothing?
That's exactly it. That's exactly it, bro. You know that. Too much talking is a sign of weakness.
Too much talking.
You know that.
Okay.
My man talks
you know that, especially when you're trying to make a point. If I've come here to talk, then we can speak it out.
Okay, and
but
then
you're doing something wrong to me,
fight.
Then there's a line.
And then we fight. Yeah?
Yeah.
And then we fight.
Yeah.
And you win or I win.
Yeah.
And I still go away from that hating you.
Yeah, but you still walk away knowing that guy's a fighter. I'm gonna watch
I don't.
Yeah, I'm not.
But listen, regardless, what we have to understand here is
but
whether you want to say it or not.
What happens on road? Man come back with a knife. Man come back with a knife, man come back with a gun. Because he can't win the war that way.
That's
he can't win the
fine,
war
but
with
I'll
his
be honest with you. He respects who he's up against, and he'll handle him a different type of way.
Just come back and shoot a clap.
Bro, he respects who he's up against, and he'll handle him in a certain way. He will not handle him in the same regard as
fear and respect are two different things.
Well, I'll be honest with you.
Fear and respect
As much as they may be two different things, and I'm not debating that with you. What I'm explaining to you is sometimes fear or respect is necessary, and I believe in this specific instance, these times right now, 2020, with everything that's happening in the world. With the way the world is being realigned right now, we should be back where we're supposed to be. The new world should not come in, and black people should be looked at a certain way.
Let's take this out of context for a minute, yeah? If you believe,
yes, Kenneth, big up my bro.
If you believe that speaking can get you so far and it can
100, Carlo, 100.
and it can make changes, take us away from it for a minute, yeah?
Yeah.
Why do we have war?
Because people do not always agree, and fighting.
Okay, so right now, all these countries have taken things. They've taken action upon it.
This is the whole point, bro. Dialogue doesn't always work.
Dialogue's not working.
Hold on.
Dialogue and commodities used to work back in the day, but now it's about war. If you want something, you need to go and get it.
No.
Yeah, it is.
If you have a
America's
war,
if you have into Iraq,
wait, hold on. Do you think that Iraqi people who are in a war with America right now are like Americans are fantastic because they're at war with us?
We're not talking. Listen, you're trying to get people to like black people, whether they like.
I'm trying to get them to stop.
Trying to get them
I'm
to
trying
like
to get no one to stop being racist.
You can't stop someone from being racist,
bro. This is what we're trying to explain.
Listen, if somebody is themselves,
we know you think you can, but I don't believe it's possible.
That's like me trying to get you to change your opinion now. It's not going to happen because you believe what you believe.
Yeah, but we're having a discussion about it, and I understand where you're coming from.
You
understand
exactly.
But you still have your opinion. This is the perfect
So no matter how long
example,
you
bro.
talk
Like
to
you
a
can sit and say,
racist-
I understand what you're saying, but you're still black.
Hold
This
on a
one
minute.
is perfect. It's perfect example.
Hold on a minute.
That was
Hold on a
perfect.
minute.
If you talk
That
to
was
a
right.
racist,
No, he was right. Let him marinate. Let him marinate. Give him a minute.
One
Let him
second.
give it a minute. He was
No,
good. Let him marinate. He needs to think about that one.
Because me and him are sitting here right now,
I feel like I should move. You lot should face each other.
strongly explaining our passion towards
forward,
black
bro.
here,
I can't really see.
and I get what you're saying. Like, listen, you got your point of
another
view,
pillow?
yeah.
No,
You sure I'm saying that?
You got your opinion. We're not even disregarding your opinion.
Not
but
at all.
You are extremely strong on your opinion. We're not changing your opinion, man. We can't because that's what you believe. If you speak to a racist, you can't stop a racist being racist. But the action that you take against a racist, forget physical.
To summarize, we can't change a racist opinion as much as we can't change yours.
Yeah,
But the thing is,
As much as you understand,
we
that's
have
how much
our
they
end goal is the same.
Bro.
Our end goal is the same.
And we still don't see eye to
Our
eye.
end goal
And
is
we
the
still
same.
don't see eye to eye.
We don't see.
So how can we make someone see eye to eye with us
as a way to
who
get
don't
there?
have the end
But
goal
our
in the same
goal
as
is
us?
the same.
If we can't come see eye to eye and we have the same end goal, how can we make them see eye to eye with us and we don't have the same end goal? We have to change the man's entire end goal, bro.
Yes.
You know how hard that is?
how?
Yes.
That's impossible.
No, it's not impossible.
Guys, crazy.
It's not impossible.
He's crazy.
It's not
Listen, I'll be honest
impossible.
with you.
Because if
Listen,
I felt
hear
that
me.
you were right,
As
if
a-
we
as
didn't
a
have...
child-
Hold on.
Go on,
We
so
could
let's
have not had this discussion.
Yeah.
And I would have gone on thinking my own way, right? And I never had a chance of changing my opinion. Never had a chance of changing it. You would have this discussion with someone else who says exactly the same thing as me and have changed their mind.
No, but that's not true. Because I'll be honest with you, everyone will probably take the same perspective that you did. If we're going to generalize it, then I'll be honest with you, in any conversation you have with anyone...
Did you hear what you just said?
Go on.
Did you hear what you just said?
Go
on.
You just said to us here that we could have this conversation with you. You could leave here still thinking what you're thinking.
But
We
someone else
could
will.
have the conversation with someone else, and that's very hopeful thinking.
Exactly.
That's a
Because
hope.
if you know us...
Why are
and
you having this conversation with me right now?
Hear me. Because no, we're just this hypothetical.
It's
But
hypothetical.
I'm saying to you now, and this is what I'm trying to say, it doesn't get realer than this. You as a black man, no white man will ever feel the way you feel as a black person. And I've gone through...
It's not.
Exactly. So with them not having gone through that, there is no way you can explain that to them and have their minds changed. I don't believe there's a way
And
to
then
explain
again,
it, bro.
and
Do you
that's where
understand?
we
Like,
disagree.
as much as you're not racist and you love white people, you still hate them for being racist towards you.
I hate racist people.
Exactly.
I hate anyone who's
So that
racist.
means you still have you're racist yourself then.
I hate anyone
Then
who's
that means
racist.
you're racist yourself.
Regardless
But
of their
that's-
race,
that's
I
not a
hate
problem.
anyone who's
But my
racist.
point is, it shouldn't be a case of me hating you or you hating me, because you're basically doing
Alright,
what
cool.
you're basically doing what you're saying.
because you can't change it. You've just said I want to change racist minds, but I hate racists.
Forget that.
Do you understand? I'm saying that it does.
It doesn't mean I'm not going to talk to them.
It doesn't matter if
Doesn't
you're
mean
racist.
I'm not going to talk to them.
I'm saying it doesn't matter if you're racist. You don't have to talk to them. That's the thing. A lot of people
got
that
one
are
question.
racist, they don't want to talk.
I got one question.
You just can't treat me this way.
One question based on that, yeah. If you said that you hate or you dislike somebody that's racist, yeah. If a racist person came to you and gave you a reason as to why you should be racist, then what?
Then I'd understand them. I'd have had that conversation.
So then he
Does
will be
that
able to
change
change
your
your
opinion
mind.
about racist?
He will be able to change your
Does
mind
that
as much
change
as
your
you
opinion
change
about a
his.
racist person?
It goes to the same thing that I said before.
that mean
He
that-
might have that conversation with me, and
Okay.
I might not take it in,
Cool.
but he might have that conversation
But
with
does
someone
that-
else, and they might
I'm
take it and they
asking-
might become racist.
All right,
What you're saying?
forget
So
someone.
basically
I'm
you're saying
asking
that.
you.
So
would
what
that
you're saying
somebody
street?
basically, so if
Wait,
you do
wait.
dialogue, yeah, and you did dialogue with everyone, you're still saying that 50% still wouldn't work.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
You just said
That's
that.
not
You're
what I'm
saying
saying.
one person might and one person might not. So
Forget
that's
that.
That's not what I'm
50%.
saying.
My question's still not answered
Go on.
because you didn't answer the question.
Go on.
If you had a conversation with a racist person and they gave you a reason why you shouldn't hate a racist person, forget somebody else. Would you? I'm asking you. Would you then be okay with a racist person?
Would I be okay with a racist
They
person?
give you all their
No, I
reasons.
wouldn't.
My point's rested.
No, it's not.
it's
Should I
fair-
tell you
it's
why?
fair to say
Should I
that
tell you
they-
why?
it's
Because
fair
there's
to
three
say they'd be the
outcomes.
same.
There's three outcomes. There's either I'm going to stick with what I think,
Yep.
right? There's I'm going
Hey,
to change
share this,
my
man.
mind.
All you whoever's in there, share this, man. Stop watching it. Share it, man.
Yeah. There's
Thank
I'm
you,
going to
Carla.
think what
Love.
I'm going to think.
Yep.
I'm going to change my mind.
Yep.
Or I'm going to understand them.
Yep. And should
Those
I,
are three different outcomes.
and should I tell you what these three different outcomes are? Possibility and hoping that one comes out. There's a
Okay,
possibility
so
and hoping
There's
that
a
it
chance.
comes
There's a
out
chance
with
that
one.
nothing will
There's a
change.
chance that
Yeah, there's
nothing will
25%
change.
all
you
the
can
way around.
fight, you can fight him, and there's still a chance that nothing will change.
Listen,
Nah,
there's
it
a
will
chance
change.
that something
It
might
will
change,
change.
but next
It
time
will
you see
change.
me like, listen, I know
It will
my
change.
man's perspective on this.
It will
shit.
change.
I'm not even going to come at him like that.
Exactly.
I'm not
Same
coming
thing
at
with
him like
discussion.
that.
Exactly. No.
Oh my God. What?
No.
What?
No.
I don't believe so. I don't believe
What?
so. For the level we're at now, I believe that dialogue.
No
there's been
way.
enough. I believe that.
No way.
I'm not saying that dialogue is wrong. Like
No
I said,
way.
I'm not saying I'm fully against it, but I believe that there should be dialogue and action, and I believe it should follow suit. Dialogue, action, dialogue, action. There should only be so much talking. Like, if we're talking about dialogue, what about all the peaceful protesters that were maced? Some of them run over. Some of them were hit point blank in the face with rubber bullets. Those are all peaceful protesters. Dialogue doesn't work. Those
Listen,
people
a
try
white man had
dialogue.
his crossbow out pointing it at black people.
I watched a video 6 minutes long of a black man kneeling on his knees, basically in tears, screaming at the police, "I love you. I love you. We love you. We want to be your family. We want to understand you. We want to come to your homes. We want to be your family. We don't want to see you out here getting hurt. We want to be a community. And this is not just blacks. This is all of us. This is all our races." Do you know what they done to him?
Probably makes them.
They dragged him, maced him, and beat him, bro. It's not funny. Do you understand? It's not funny at all. Believe me, it's not funny. But this is what happened.
What
when
would have
you
happened if
dialogue.
you went and fought them?
Do you know what happened? Everyone else would have fought them, and they would have backed
And
up.
what would?
They would have backed up. I've seen the videos. There's been many videos where people have stood forward, they've grabbed someone, and the crowds have mobbed them, and they've backed off. I've seen the footage. I'm not saying it happens all the time, but if you're trying to make a message
But
of peace,
but-
if you're trying to
but
make a message
when-
of, if you're clearly trying to convey a message of peace, if I'm on my knee, oh bro, lift that up a sec. Fucking hell, bro. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Boom. If I'm on my knee, screaming, telling you I love you,
Yeah.
you are my family, and your response to that is to mace and beat me, then we can't speak anymore. I think that's fair to say.
so then
Don't you
what-
say that? Is that not fair to say? Is that not fair to say? You on your knee saying, "Dre, I love you. You're my brother. I care about you. I care about your
And he
family."
drags you up.
and me and him drag you and beat you and mace you based on that. We
You're
nick
not
you.
going to come and try
you
come
gonna
with that
try and
same
talk to me
angle at
again?
us again. You're not going to use
Can
different.
do.
Are you gone? When I said you
can
can
do.
do, are you gonna try that same approach again?
Probably just will leave you alone.
This is the
Either
point
that-
that we're making.
That's exactly
This
what we
is the
want.
point that we're trying
Leave us
to make.
alone.
We
This is
want
what I'm
to
trying
be
to say.
left alone.
We want to give the message that
And if talking
violence
is
had
not
made
gonna
you
work-
back up, violence made you. You know what? They're not listening no more.
This
So
is
that's
what-
made you keep.
Yeah, but then-
if
but
that's
then-
what violence takes, then that's what we
Yeah,
want.
but that's
I'm not
that's
trying to
me.
change
I might
this
come
mind.
back and fight you.
That's the
I
point
might come
that
back
Yeah,
and
love.
fight you.
This
Happy
is-
birthday, Earthstrong, my brother. Big up EK. Big up
Happy
Samsara.
birthday,
Yes,
bro.
Kazo.
Yes, happy
Love.
birthday. That is the
Any
point that I
yes.
made at the very, very beginning, and I said I understand dialogue here, but action will change somebody else's
Exactly.
way of dealing
For the
with things
people that aren't
because
trying to
of
hear
the
dialogue, action
consequences.
needs to be taken. Exactly.
Because I get what you're saying, yeah. I understand what you're saying. Listen, you don't want no more black people
Why is
dying.
Lamar lying?
You don't want anything like that.
Yeah, kind of. It's not that sort of chat room, kind of.
No, but
keep it pro black,
listen,
man.
Em, the thing is, right? My reaction is as my individual reaction. What you're saying is, if someone has dialogue, and they get beaten, right? What are they gonna do, right? what are they gonna do? They come back and attack.
No, you
right?
didn't say that.
No,
You
no,
just
no.
changed it.
I'm saying, I'm giving you a scenario.
Alright, yeah, go on.
They come back and attack, right?
Yeah.
They come back and attack, and then they get attacked again. And it goes round in one big vicious cycle. This is always a possibility. Don't say no, this can't happen, because it can. It's always a possibility
Well, that's
that
what we're
this
talking
can
about.
happen.
Of course.
There's
But
always this
we're not
possibility.
talking about no
Now,
dialogue.
what I am saying
Yep.
is that the core point that I've been trying to make from the beginning is I feel that this movement could be so much further if it was done differently at the beginning. The stage that we're at now, I feel, is a stage that is necessary where we have dialogue and action, right? It is a stage that is necessary because of the way that it's gone already. But if we had gone about it a different way at the beginning, I believe that the movement would be in a different place.
So when we talk about the beginning, how far back
How
are we
far
going?
back are we going?
Because we're talking about for black people, then it began with dialogue.
Yes.
Most of it began
No,
with
I'm-
dialogue, bro.
I'm
That's what
talking
saying.
I'm
So
talking
wait,
about
so-
I'm talking about our generation right now.
Our generation.
Our generation right now.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
From, let's take for instance
The
in
90s.
in the UK, let's take one pivotal moment. Let's take Mark.
Okay.
All right? Let's take
Rest
Mark.
in peace, Mark Duggan.
Rest in
R.I.P.
peace, Mark.
Yeah.
Bro. Like, but Mark got killed by the police.
Yeah.
No police officer got sent down for it. Right?
He should do. I hope that
Then
they reopen the case after
that's
this.
it, I hope so as well.
Even if it's manslaughter, give him
Weeks-
8 years.
Weeks later, a couple months later, another police shooting in McGreen.
Yeah.
The riots had already happened. The riots had already happened.
Yeah.
The change didn't come from those riots.
All right, cool. I knew you was going to say that, but should I tell you something about these riots, is which I was explaining to people over all of these years, yeah?
Go on.
That riot that supposedly stemmed over Mark Duggan's death, yeah?
Yeah.
That riot that it got taken to, this one's different.
100 Anika.
This one's
100.
different, yeah? And the reason why I say that is because I watched those
I'm not, by the way.
I watched
He is, but he doesn't realise it. When he watches it back, he'll get it.
I watched those riots, yeah, and I feel like
I'm messing.
the point that people were trying to make in that riot deterred vastly from what it was supposed to be. People were burning down innocent people's buildings.
Yeah,
The only
there's a
thing
lot
that's
of
left
stuff like
standing in Tottenham right now that should be burnt down is the police station.
Yeah.
Alright, cool.
That's the
So
funniest
the
thing.
example
That's
that I'm
funny.
making,
It's funny, but it's facts.
yeah, the example that I'm making right now, yeah, is things in America such as police stations and are being burnt down and cars are being. That didn't happen here.
But the
message is different
The
now.
thing is,
We
right?
wanted
The
we
thing
wanted the
is-
same
the thing is-
outcome, but the way they went about it was different.
But the thing is, we could extends
Could
again.
have.
Could have got to this stage earlier. This has been my point from the beginning.
Yeah,
We
could
could have
have.
got to this stage earlier.
No,
we
you
haven't.
said with
Earlier.
dialogue, though.
You said
Your whole
with
thing was
dialogue.
dialogue.
The
You
first,
said
the
we
first
couldn't
thing
have got
was-
here with dialogue. We
first
couldn't have got
thing
none
is-
of this stuff happening with
we
dialogue.
could have.
And
How?
saying we could have.
How do we burn a police station with dialogue?
No, I'm saying that we could have been further if the message was
Not that we are
different
gonna
in
do
the
anything
beginning.
But this is the point that I'm
No.
making. This is the point.
Allegedly.
This is this goes back to the first point that I made again, yeah, about the way that they use the message that we're sending to deter from what it originally was.
Share this, share it.
When Mark Duggan got killed and we started rioting, you know what you saw on TV? People
Yeah.
looting. Yeah? Right now, they're trying to show people looting. But you can't deny the fact that police stations are getting burnt down, policemen are getting licked over now. That weren't happening
I'm
before.
going to add one point to that as well, yeah? You see, with the closer analysis we have to the writing now as well, I'm not saying it's 100% fact, but they've identified police officers
Yeah.
within the riots,
Yeah.
causing
Yeah,
the chaos.
yeah.
So I'm saying, you're saying that there was a lot more looting, burning and rioting. I'm saying,
That's not-
I'm not.
Whoa, when did I say that?
No, I'm saying before. No, I meant before. Before it was a lot more chaotic than now.
Yeah.
As in the message was a lot more chaotic.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Listen,
yeah.
So I'm saying to you, how do we know that the officers weren't planted back then also? This is what I'm saying. The message is a
Because
lot,
the message that we
is
were
a lot
trying to
clearer
send
now.
was deterred from where it actually
This is
was.
what my whole point is.
But they
For
probably-
all we
they
know, that half of
probably
the
were.
looting and writing.
But that's
the whole
down to
point.
that's
But
down
it
to
looked-
organisation. That's down to organisation of us. We need to be all more organised.
So we need
is
to
what I said
unify.
in the
So you said that you said it wasn't about unity. You said it wasn't about unity.
I never said that.
Yeah, you know that, Kaya. I sat with him for hours and he said, listen, I'm literally 4 or 5 hours. If flipping Alea was in there, she will vouch to this. And we've gone round in circles and he's not back down. So that Danny is the one
Yeah,
of
but it's
the
not. It's
one
not
of the
back down,
most
but I will try again.
one of the most
I
strong
will try
one of
again.
the most strong-headed person I've ever
I
met.
will
And that's
try
not,
again.
That's not a bad thing.
I will try again.
That's not a bad thing.
You get me?
Because
He backs what he thinks by fact. Do you
But-
understand? If I sit and talk to
Now,
Danny, we'll
the thing
always
is-
call reference.
the thing is-
Pause. We'll call reference. Do you understand? So he's allowed to be like that, Kaya. But on
this-
the other hand, I think
but
it
this-
is a bit silly to
I've
believe
not
that he
said-
thinks
I've
that
not
people
said
are
at
so
any
open-minded
stage- I've
when
not
he's
said
so
at
ignorant
any
himself.
stage in this conversation, right, that I think the protests that are going on right now
Are wrong.
Are wrong.
I know.
I've
I
not
knew he
said
was going to
at
say
all.
that, but the point that I'm
We're
going to
not
make
saying
here,
that.
I'm not saying that. Listen, I'll give you a prime example. What's happening right now? Yeah, for example, yeah, you're extremely strong-headed and strong-minded. So are you, and so am I. You've got your opinion. You've got your opinion. I've got my opinion. And there's some things that you might believe, and there's some ways that you might believe that things might change. We can't change what you believe and what you think, because you personally believe right now that we could.
Good question, Kieran.
You think that we could get a lot. You believe that we would have been a lot further with dialogue. I don't believe that, and I'm not saying you're wrong. If you believe that, and
No,
I-
you have been telling me throughout this conversation that I'm wrong.
no. If you
You have. You've said we can't get anywhere with dialogue. You've told me
but,
that I'm wrong.
okay, cool. So if you believe we can,
Don't play it off, like.
I said that. I said that.
Alright,
Yeah,
so if
no,
you
there needs to be
believe-
both. I'm not
if
just
you
dialogue.
believe
No,
we
no,
can
no.
get a lot further with dialogue, and I personally don't believe that. Yeah, that don't mean that you're wrong and I'm right.
No, it does not.
But you believe what you believe. You cannot change what some people
but
believe.
But what
Unless-
we're doing now, we're having a
unless
conversation
certain
which is opening,
actions are
which is
taken.
opening me to your thought process.
I know, but you still believe what you believe. It doesn't matter if you're thinking what I
This
think.
is
You
it.
still believe
But
what
I'm
you
open
I
believe.
to
can
your
hear
thought
everything you
process.
say and
And I
register
know-
it and still think the way I think.
Yeah, but we want the same. The thing is, we want the same goal.
No, we don't. That's if we wanted the same goal, then it wouldn't have taken
The way to go.
dialogue and
No, the way to
writing
go.
get
No,
here.
I'm saying us. We want the same goal, so we can have a discussion. We can
Yeah.
do things in two different ways. You can be Malcolm X, I can be Martin Luther King, and we can still get to the same end goal.
I agree with what you're saying.
You get me?
So then, how do you reach someone that doesn't have
But
the
the
same
thing-
goal as you?
Yeah.
But the thing
This
is,
is
you
my
have
point.
conversations and you open their minds.
But I'm saying if we have a
You
conversation
get
where
me?
we
The thing
we
is that-
agree on the
the
same
thing is-
thing and
the
our
thing
minds
is-
are both completely.
the thing is
all
that-
three of us here, our minds are all completely open to each other. The most open that we probably
The
can
thing
be.
is,
towards-
you go
hear
back and-
hear me. The most complete that we can be towards each other. Like this, we're sitting there, we're opening our minds. If we cannot do this, the three people that's known each other for some amount of time, do you understand? Who know each other outside of any discussion regarding this, so we've all come and agreed to sit down and do you understand, do this. If we can't come to a conclusion, even on how to get there, how can we even come to a way to change someone's mind in how they perceive us?
On
It's-
such
it's
a
we have
vast
it's
scale.
we have a conclusion
It's
of where we
illogical.
want to be.
We can't get to the same place, but that's my whole point. I know that, and we still can't meet.
We don't need to though. We can go on our different journeys and still end up at the same
I
place
believe
at
that.
the
I
end.
believe that in
All
order
right.
for them to perceive us, we have
Because
to say.
as I said,
this is what I'm saying.
as
It
I
needs
said
to
in
be
the
that
beginning of-
Black
the
Lives
beginning
Matter,
of this
period.
conversation-
There's no dialogue.
As I said in the beginning of this
and
conversation,
explain why Black
I
Lives
believe
Matter.
that where
I
we
shouldn't
are
have to sit
now
down and
is a much
explain
better place,
what black
but
people
we
have
could have got
invented.
there sooner.
I'm gonna
This
ask,
is my entire
I'm gonna
point.
ask a question. Yeah, it might seem like a weird one or so forth. Yeah, but I think you might get where I'm going. with
I
this.
don't
Let's-
believe that, Kaya.
let's-
But I hear you.
Let's say for example,
You can't make a plan with people that don't make plans with you.
all right, cool.
You can't talk to someone that
let's-
doesn't want to listen to
let-
you.
let's say-
The plan
let's-
isn't being made to
forget
You-
that.
It's impossible.
Alright,
It's
cool.
theoretic. It's
So I got-
impossible.
I got-
If someone's
I
not
got
going to
a
listen to
question,
you, they're
yeah?
not going to listen to you.
Let's
It
say
doesn't
for
matter.
example, right now, yeah, you're saying we might want the same end goal, yeah, but
Exactly. Yes, I'm with you, Anika.
but we-
Dialogue should only be taken
but we
before
go
action.
two, but we go
on
two
just
separate,
dialogue.
we
No,
go two separate ways, yeah. I get that.
just dialogue. No, I've been saying that the whole time.
But the thing I said,
sorry, no consequences.
Please
He said the same thing.
remember,
You didn't say that.
remember your thing.
You
What I
didn't say
said is,
that.
I think the dialogue should have been different. That's what I said. This is what I've been saying. This is my whole thing. I am not against where we are now. Where we are now, I think it's a place which is a decent place. But I think the dialogue at the beginning should have been different, and we would have been in a better place.
You
now.
wanted it to be done more respectfully.
No, I wanted it to be done differently.
So what's differently? Be
Differently,
more specific.
differently
Different,
is
like I said, you're being too
differently
generic.
is
Be
by.
specific.
Do you know what? Actually, come together, talk. What are our goals? What are the outcomes? What do we actually want from this? Let's all read from the same
Kyle, you
page
can't
and
speak
do
to
that
someone who
first.
doesn't want to be listened to.
Let's all read from the same
That's
page
why
and
they
do
have
that
laws.
first.
They don't
and
go
then
around and
if
tell
that
people, you know what,
fails,
be good,
because we've all
be
come
nice,
together.
don't steal. They don't
Because we've
walk
all
around
come
telling you
together
that
and we've
stuff.
all done
They
this
list
plan.
laws.
We
You have to
all
live
did
by
it.
them.
We all tried
That's
it.
how you.
We all did it as a
follow through.
team.
That's how you make sure people
And
abide
we
by
failed.
rules. You don't keep
Then
telling
you
them.
go out and
You don't
start
sit down and
fucking
write it
doing
down and
everything
talk.
else.
You enforce them with rules and let them know there's consequences.
We didn't do that.
We have to use their rules against them. The exact same rules have to to be for them. We have to hold them accountable
that's my
because
only-
of what they do.
that's
And
my
once they
only
breach
problem.
that, then there needs to be consequences.
I am a big believer that you need to dumb things down to people who do not understand your point. I can't keep on telling you the same point in the same way and expect you to get it. If you're not getting it, I need to change the way that I'm giving it.
So with that, it's perfectly fair to assume that if you have to dumb things down, that the person may be too dumb to perceive what you're saying. I'm not sitting here trying to deal with maybes. This one, I'm here to say
Everything
this.
is a maybe.
I'm here to say this. No, it's not. No, it's not. Black Lives Matter. That's not a maybe.
No,
so the
but
fact,
humans-
stop. The fact that you think that
Humans
some
are
people,
individuals,
listen,
man.
I never said anything about humans. I'm saying black. I don't give a fuck about humans.
You have to.
Listen, I don't have to give a fuck about anything. We're talking about humans. I'm talking about Black Lives Matter right now. We're not
Yes.
talking about human beings as a race. I'm talking about
no.
All right,
What
cool.
I'm saying is
Don't
we need to
misperceive me.
change
Let me
people-
finish
we need to
talking.
change
Let me
people's
finish
attitudes. We
talking.
need to change
The talking doesn't help, bro. Like if I sit there and I'm not going to waste my time trying to
why are we
convince
doing
someone
this?
of some. We're talking amongst ourselves, trying to find a way to help our people. And in the midst of this, if it can help people, so be it. But I'm not here to try and use this dialogue to change anyone's opinion of racism. I'm here to say Black Lives Matter. That's what this chat is. Everything around this chat that I have to say is regarding Black Lives Matter, and to let every black person know who's watched this live or will watch this live in the future that your life matters, and we are here to talk on your behalf. I'm not here to.
Cool. Let me ask what you told me to hold on to,
go,
because I listened to the point where you said about if you believe if our end goal is the same but we take two different paths. Let me ask you something here. Cool. So you believe this, so you're gonna take that path. I believe that. I'm gonna take that path. Yeah. Listen, people that are racist believe one thing. Yeah. That's one. There's no two paths. That's one group. Yeah. If you've gone left and I've gone right, yeah. Do you know how long it's gonna take you to get there?
If your way doesn't work, because you're saying
It's
to
not
me
about not
Exactly
working.
that, Anika. Exactly that.
if you're saying to me, yeah, that your way, that my way does not work.
I'm not saying
He's saying to me,
I'm saying sometimes it's a bit
that my
business,
way
like.
does not work.
Anika, we have to bring you
Does
over
not
to
work.
sit down and talk.
Right? So if we all
Yes,
go and do
Kira,
it
talk
your
to
way,
Kaya.
we all go and do it your way, right? And that does not
I'm
work.
with V colour.
We've only done it one way.
The point that I'm making.
No, we
here,
haven't.
yeah,
We've done it both ways, I believe, man.
Forget the way.
You missed half of that.
I'm not.
What are you talking about?
He's talking about he's talking about the way. Yeah, I'm not saying about the way that happens to get there. Yeah, I'm saying if you've gone on that path and I've gone on that path, and there's a group of racist people in the middle. Yeah, forget the path you're taking. The point that I'm making, yeah, is that these racist people are united and they don't like black people. If we can't even stick together, and you're going to take one path and I'm going to take another,
They're not going to listen to us.
They're not going to listen to us.
That's why it needs to be a united message.
You
This is what I'm
need to
saying.
be
There's
a
no applying
united
to each person.
I'm not saying
They
your
need
way.
to understand.
I'm not saying your way is wrong.
Get it.
I'm not saying there's no right or wrong, but if you can't unify in the first place, how can you stand against? Listen,
Kieran's
We
dead
are
right,
unified.
Kyle.
Black Lives Matter. That's our unification.
yeah, but you're Black Lives Matter.
Kyle, we're not doing that. I'll
But
kick you
we
from the
believe
line.
that we should go about it in different
Was it
ways. This
Carla?
is what I'm saying.
That's
Carla,
our
leave Kieran alone.
unification. You
Stop,
can
man.
attack. You don't need to attack a problem with one way. You can attack problems from several different angles, right? And attack it. And
Of
you
100%, Anika. Sorry.
This is like War 101. You know what I mean? You don't just attack something from one angle and keep on hitting it with a blunt, flipping, doof, 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 and it's not working. And it's not working.
Okay, say something.
Right?
Okay.
So you're saying,
Stop.
you're saying if what you're saying,
Go on.
no, but I'm not finished.
Oh, let go and finish. Hold it. Go.
Right. So I'm
should
saying
have- I'm gonna get a baton next time.
I'm saying because now I can't be proven. I can't be proven right or wrong now. I can't be proven right or wrong now because I'm talking about from a point in time where we could be further on now. That's what I believe. But where we are now, I'm saying is a good place.
It's an excellent place. What you just said was, is that you can't get somewhere by hitting it from one place continuously.
No, with a blunt object.
Yeah.
So that means it's not working.
It's
You're
not
hitting
working.
it with a blunt
All
object.
right, cool. 1 second, So
Normally,
if-
a blunt object works when you hit something.
forget that, if that's how you believe.
I'm just being honest.
I just wanna-
Bad metaphor, but-
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. No, I think it's a good
I-
metaphor, but I feel like at least towards our point. But
Take
for your
that,
point,
I just want to
I would
know
use that.
if that's what you're thinking. You think hitting something with a blunt object isn't going to get you. So how far has dialogue got us?
I don't think we used the right dialogue. This is my point.
But we've used dialogue.
We've
There's no
used the
right
wrong
or
dialogue.
track.
I think there's a. I think that.
Do you know why I
there
don't
is
want to go round on this? Because you're not giving us specifics with the dialogue. So let's just change up the topic. Let's move it over on something that we can all agree. Let's move it to something we can all agree on, yeah? No, let's move it to
Go on.
general racism. Let's just
Our
move it to general racism.
Our ancestors have been talking for years, and we're still here.
Facts.
This is the point now.
400-500 years. They played for their slavery. They got freed. You know what happens after they freed us? They chased us down and enslaved us. When we had our towns, they burned
our
them.
ancestors never
Genocide
took- if our
after
ancestors
they
never
freed us. There's been too much talking. That's what I genuinely believe, and that's why I love the way you think. And you know, there will be a group of white people that will be specifically for your kind of person.
Exactly.
Do you understand? It's one of the
Exactly.
my thing, but I believe for the masses.
I think that my message targets white people more.
If I
feel
walk
that
into
your
a
message
room
targets black
full
people
of white people, my only message is my life matters. That's it. Your feelings.
don't care.
Your feelings don't come into account.
I don't care.
You don't have to care. As long as you realise that.
I don't realise it. I don't care.
You keep saying that I don't realise I don't care, but a lot of people realise things and still don't care. They realise it but still don't care, and with that comes the consequences. So then when there is rioting, it won't be called rioting. Because you need to realise it's only called rioting when it's against the establishment. Do you understand? There was no rioting at Lee Rigby's murder. I see some of that sort of stuff coming up. The reason why there was no rioting towards that is because it was looked upon as murder. It was treated right amongst the establishment, so there was no need for major uproar. People were unhappy with what happened, and they spoke out about it. They spoke against Muslims, etc., etc. But there was no need to take it to this extent. We're in a position where we've got someone who was blatantly murdered in the same situation, and it's not being looked upon in the same situation. So I'm saying to you, if people's humanities and the system that we live in are not going to apply themselves to us, do you understand? It's not happening for us, and it's not been happening. Then we need to put ourselves in a situation where we need to understand that they feel this way. We need to understand that they think this way, but it's still not going to happen. That's it. And with time after that, it will change. Because only after you tell someone they can't do something, reasoning comes afterwards. Yo, can I? No. Oh, bro, man, did it. Do you understand? It's only after I tell you no that we can reason.
I completely understand, right? All I am saying, all I have been saying, is that I feel that if there's no conversation had, you're not giving anyone the opportunity to join your cause.
A verbalised end goal gets you nothing.
Nah, I think that's absolute bollocks. Sorry.
That's Kaya. I don't know what she was trying to agree
You
with
have
you.
to.
I think
No,
she
you have
missed
to. You have to verbalise your end goal. You have to say what your goal is. Everyone needs to be clear on what your goal is, and the goal is
You
to
just said
let
it was to
people
end racism.
No, it's to end police brutality. What I'm saying is my individual goal, and this is what I'm saying. I'm not with the movement. So my individual goal is I feel it will help you. I feel it will help everyone.
So you're not with Black Lives Matter.
I am.
You just said you're not. This is what I'm saying. Like, you need to be clear because earlier you said you wasn't. Now you're saying you're not. So
I never said I was. I never said I was with the movement.
He was in the beginning. He said he was watching it. He said
he
he wasn't a
said-
part of it, but now he is.
No, I said,
and now you are.
No, now I'm listening. I'm taking things in.
Okay.
You get me? Like I'm more attuned to it. I'm more. You know what I mean?
Well, that sums up everything right there. Then, if you're
But
not,
it's
not Black Lives Matter,
if
then
you're not Black
you're who
Lives
we're
Matter,
dealing
then
with,
you're
yeah,
not,
you're the
then
part-
you're
the
not going to
problem.
agree with what was because I'm about Black Lives
Yeah,
Matter.
that's what 100%.
I'm about Black
You're
Lives
kind of that.
I'm not tuning in and
You're
understanding
all
what's
lives
going
matter
on.
then, in other words.
No, I'm
You
not.
are.
Right now,
You're
I'm not for the movement. The movement
How
itself.
can you not be for
That-
Black
that's
Lives
it.
Matter?
That's it. He's
Yeah,
not for
that's
the
it,
movement.
yeah.
It makes sense now.
Yeah, the message,
Makes
yes.
sense.
The movement itself,
It makes sense.
Always finesse at the table.
It makes sense.
you know what I mean? It's
What
not.
are you gonna do? Let's get a little word from the
Yeah, it's
sponsors.
not difficult, like. I said it at the very beginning.
I like all
You
this.
know what I mean?
I'm gonna run a one text from our beloved Khalid Mohammed. Maybe not Dennis, but I love a bit of Khalid Mohammed. It's a group perspective. It's not for everyone.
It's working.
Oh God, it's not for everyone. So yeah, but I still think it'll be good to hear. Love to everyone that tuned in as well. Respect it.
Yeah, trust.
Thank you. It's very important, and I hope that you will share and like the page and bring more, and we will get more into this. I've seen a lot of people add comments, so when quarantine is up, I will be looking forward to meeting some of you and maybe open up the panel some more, man. Definitely get some more
bigger
people
panel.
involved. Hear some more
This is
talking. 100%.
this is very.
It's the first of many. Like.
It's interesting
Yes.
and it's good because we all want the same end goal, but it seems like we've all got different ways and hopes and beliefs and
Exactly.
attributes on how we're gonna get there. So
Yeah, I don't think there's no objective. There's no objective. We all need to have these conversations and talk to each other and have an understanding of each other as well.
Listen,
you know what I mean?
I'm just hoping Danny's going to be as open as he said he's been, and we can get him from an All Lives Matter to a Black Lives Matter.
I'm not all lives
Because he
matter.
just sat there
I've
and
told
said
you.
that we
I've
can
told you
change
that.
people.
You've just put those words in my mouth. Please don't put words in my
You've
mouth.
just said you're not Black Lives Matter.
I said I'm
But
not
you
for the
said you're
movement.
for the end of
I
Black
said
Lives-
I'm not for the movement.
Yeah,
of
you're
course,
not Black Lives
matter.
Matter.
No.
listen,
you're
I'll
being
say again. Listening, Vanessa.
When you say a movement, yeah,
Violent
I'm
resistance.
Black Lives Matter. So if it's a movement,
calm, but everything has to have its own interpretation to you.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Is that
So
Kaya
you should be
always
part of
needs
Black
to
Lives
be
Matter
some
for
black?
your own reasons. You're not part of it for the movement's sake.
I'm not
Does
part
that make-
of the movement. I care. Black Lives Matter. They do.
Then you are Black Lives Matter. Then
I didn't say. Oh my god! I said
just-
I'm Black Lives Matter. I'm not for the movement. That's the words that
The
came out of my
movement
mouth.
is Black
Several-
Lives Matter, bro. That's
Oh
what
my
the
God,
movement
no.
is.
Oh my god.
The movement is Black Lives Matter. So how
Okay,
can you
let's say
care
we
about
want-
Black Lives Matter? Not, that's like
we
me
want the
saying
feds to be
I praise Jesus,
bashed
but I'm not
up.
a Christian.
Right,
Yes.
not easy.
Oh my god! Yes, you can believe in Jesus and not be a Christian.
You can be how? Oh no, but obviously how?
Muslims
agree,
believe
I
in
agree.
Jesus, my friend.
I
They don't
agree.
believe it. They believe he's a Messiah.
They
don't
believe he's a
in
prophet.
him. Yeah, they don't
They
believe.
believe-
They don't believe in
they
him.
believe-
They believe he existed. There's a difference. To believe in someone as a god and to believe someone exists is two different things.
To
You
believe
can't
Black
question
Lives
me on that.
to believe
You
Black Lives
cannot
Matter
question
and
me
to
on
be a
that.
part of the
Don't
Black
blame
Lives
me.
Matter
I
movement
know
is two
my
different
shit.
things.
It's the same thing. What are you talking about? Like I said, it has its own interpretation. If you're looking at it as a movement, standalone movement, then yes. But
No.
I'm saying, when I join Black
There's
Lives
a-
Movement,
there's a-
the
there's a
fact I'm doing
sentence,
this
Black
live
Lives-
right now, I'm not
there's a
doing it
sentence.
because someone created a hashtag.
There's a
I'm
sentence,
doing it
Black
because
Lives-
Black Lives Matter around me. It's because my brothers and my sisters
And that's
need
why I'm
something.
doing everything that
That's-
I do.
So
But
I'm a part of that movement. I'm a part of that movement. I'm a part of everyone who is saying Black Lives Matter. Well, it doesn't matter for what reason. Some people are doing it because police are brutalizing. Other people are doing it because they've been racist. People have been racist to them. Other people might be doing it for other reasons. Do you understand? Regardless of their race. But if you believe Black Lives Matter, then you are a part of this movement. That's it. I don't believe you can't be, because if you're not, then you're all lives matter. Because you're not saying that Black Lives Matter. Then.
I'm saying that Black Lives Matter, and I'm saying that I'm not doing it with the movement.
That's crazy.
It's
then
very.
how
I'm
do
not
you
going to
believe?
no protests.
How do you
I'm not
believe?
going to no protests.
Kaya
That's
said,
perfectly
yeah.
fine.
Kaya said that you need to think about the bigger picture. What about after? What comes next?
That is my. That's,
But
that's
Vanessa
what I've been
says.
saying.
Freedom.
Vanessa,
Freedom comes next.
Vanessa says you're either Black Lives Matter or you're not.
Exactly. But you see, Kai, when you say what comes next, yeah, what do you think the slaves thought when they were being beaten and murdered? Do you not think that freedom was not in front of them? Do you not think that they would have all been murdered? Oh, we're all going to get killed. We're all going to be murdered. We're never going to grow. We're never going to be free.
And Vanessa,
so if you
by
want to
the way-
sit there and look at a point where you want to speak and you want to hope that maybe they'll see some type of way, then your children and their children and their children will be trapped in this. The only way out of this is action. You can only beat words with action. You can only beat action with action. You can't beat actions with words.
Are words not an action?
That's a choice within a person. I'm talking about physicalities when I'm talking about actions and words. Of course, words are an action, but I'm talking about using my fist or saying I'm gonna punch you. It's two different things.
Okay, what
on,
I
I'm
am
telling
saying,
you, man.
what I'm saying, and it's a very easy concept, is that if you use your fist and you lose, now what? You go back.
There's
50
still
minutes.
respect. There's no respect. You've not fought a man, beat him up, and still thought I respect that you for fighting.
It's a
What are you
possibility.
talking-
It's
110%.
not a 100%
and that's-
outcome.
Listen, if you knock him out, then it's a joke. It's not a fight.
It's
but if
not
you
a-
have a fist fight with a man, I can smile at him afterwards.
It's
yeah.
But then there's man who will have. Hold on, that's because of your personality. That's your individuality. Not everybody thinks the same way that you do, and you need to understand that. You need to understand that not everyone thinks the same way that you do.
Bro.
Everyone is an individual.
Everyone respects violence, bro.
No,
everyone.
not
This guy's
everyone
crazy.
respects
This
violence.
guy's crazy.
Whether you respect violence or not, yeah.
Everyone respects violence, bro.
You know
Everyone.
that violence has a form of outcome.
If I have a
respects
fight
violence.
with you,
Whether
and
you
me and you
realise
have
it
a
or
fight,
not, you
and
respect
I'm a
it.
man who I got no respect for you, and I don't give a shit about you, and we have a fight, I don't need to come out of that fight having respect for you.
The only way you could possibly have respect for me is out of that fight. If you thought everything about me was shit. The only possible way that you could respect me is be like, you know what, he gave me a couple bangs. That's the only way. I don't fucking like him, but you know, he held his own.
Disagree.
That's the only way.
I disagree.
That's how you believe. But this is what I'm trying to say. This is what I think. We're all entitled. Of course, you're more than entitled. I don't even want you to feel attacked, Danny. I'll be real with you. I don't want you to feel attacked at all. And I'm sorry if you do, bro. I don't want you to feel like we are. But yeah, I'm glad that these angles are coming
You know
up.
what I mean? If I hate a person and I have a fight with him, and he gives me a couple bangs, I don't give a shit. If I decide to respect him,
Bro,
if
you
I
yourself have
respect
told.
him.
I've had conversations
But this
with
is
you,
the-
and I
but
don't want to
this
say no names, no pause. Where you yourself has told me and used names, and we were talking about old school stories not too
Yeah.
long ago,
Yeah.
and you were talking about certain people that you caught up with, and it was a situation, and throughout all that, you still managed to words it out.
Yeah, afterwards
I
we had a
respect him.
discussion. Afterwards we had a discussion. We had a
After
conversation.
violence, but it took violence to get that respect.
If we
to
never
speak.
had violence,
you never would've come to the talking.
oh my god, if we never had
God,
violence
these guys
and I
are
just hated
hilarious.
a man and I never had violence and I saw him 20 years later
even the
and
way,
had a conversation with him,
I'm talking
do you
about.
think that would have been just
All right,
because
so
of the
you can
violence?
take that
Oh, stop
hypothetical
it,
and
stop
hold
it,
it wherever you
stop
want.
it.
But I'm using actual fact in what you
Stop
said to me. And you said, right, it was that, but you know, after that, yeah, I saw my
This
man. It
isn't
was.
every situation.
This is what you said. I'm talking about
This
what
isn't-
works. This is what I'm saying. We could talk generic hypothetical if you
telling
want,
you, I'm
or we could
tell-
talk about
I'm
what actually works.
telling you.
I'm giving you examples from your own
and
life.
I'm giving you an example.
If I'm lying,
that
tell me
you're
I'm
not
lying.
listening to. I'm giving
Bro,
you an
that's not a
example
real
you're listening to.
example. That's
What do you mean it's not a
hypothetical.
real example?
Give me
There's
a real
men I've never
example.
had beef with. There's men I've never had a fight with on road.
In
Never
my
had beef with,
opinion-
never touched.
And I never
And
heard
I've
of
had
that.
co-
I never
and I've
heard
had
of that. And
conversations
I never
about
heard of those. I never heard of those. But I've heard about the ones that you beefed with, and then afterwards you gain the respect to speak
I
with
just
them.
feel
That's
like
the conversation
I feel like
that
right
And
we
now,
those are that.
Those are conversations that
But
we're
this is my
Violence
point.
is
But
not
this
Those
is
gonna
a
change
are
where
the
we're at.
conversations that make the most noise. You know why? Because actions speak louder than words.
No.
That's
with
a
another
fact.
person, with another
Oh
person,
my
if they know
God.
the person, with another person, if they know the person, I'm probably talking to you about those people because you know those people.
You know what I'm
Because
saying,
You know
yeah?
who they are.
I hear you. I'm gonna run this
It's very
colours
simple,
market.
man.
Few kind words.
The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan to show courtesy, respect.
We don't own the rights, by the way.
kindness.
People
as long as they are courteous, respectful, kind.
That's
and
why they don't
polite.
rate us. They don't rate us because of how they feel about it. It's nothing to do with the way
must
we
look at the
move.
fact that
When
we
they
don't
took us, we
keep
weren't in any type of position for them not to rate us. If you look into how Europe was colonized and conquered, and where maths and astronomy and time and produce came from, then you'd understand. You know what you're talking about, Kai. You need to sit back now, man. It's starting to irritate me.
Why you getting irritated? It's a conversation, bro.
This is black light, bro.
Conversation.
Nah, bro, this hurts my
You're
chest.
irritated with her, you need to be irritated with me.
I am irritated with you and I'm expressing it. But you're here to talk to me. See, I have to say that. I can't sit down in front of her and say, alright, Kai, so you think I can't do that with her? I can do that with
But
you.
you're not fighting me, are you?
I'm not gonna fight you. You're my brother. That's not my brother. If that's a man in the street. I'm trying to say, Danny, you know this. I understand where you've come from, I understand it, but you yourself was a man of this same cloth, so you would understand it, and you understand.
I've grown a different way.
I know, but you understand it. You understand it. Growing the way you've grown, has racism affected you less? Has it affected you less? Has racism affected you less?
Yes.
I don't believe so.
Nothing I say up here nor anywhere
I
in
don't
the
believe so
world
because
will
all you've done is
impact
surround yourself with more white people.
will
So I don't see how that is going to
impact
impact. That's not going to. That's in its own natural habitat. It's not going to be less racist than if you was around
in
here.
housing, in the society.
It's impossible. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that white people are racist. People around you are. I know many white people around you. I've got much love for a lot of people. Do you understand? Very much love for them. Do you understand? 110%. They know who they are, and I can say their names if I need to. Do you understand? But still, if you're around your own, you're not going to. So I don't believe that. But you're entitled to because you felt the way you felt, and you followed the path you followed, and you believe in. You're entitled to. But as still being a black man and still going through what you're going through, being as clean cut and legitimate as white collar as you are, you still go through what I go through. You still do. Do you understand? You still do. I'm sure I remember before the last job, the one before that, I'm sure you're saying you was having an issue with your last boss around a similar sort of situation. Not directly.
Not about race. Not in work. Never.
Oh, I thought my one was a bit funny with you.
No, not about race.
Well, yeah, it's definitely customers then. That's what I'm trying to say, bro. Like I said, like customers, you don't have to. You're not gonna, like when you was working and you've been around a few racist people. I'm 110%. You probably didn't try and talk them out of it all the time. I'm not saying you didn't start with dialogue, but it ended with action if they carried on with the racism. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, that's fair to say.
So then, what are we talking about now? What different
is
dialogue
that-
would you bring from? What makes it different?
I go back to that and I'd say that probably wasn't the best way to deal with it.
But if it diffused the situation and it stopped the person from coming back in that manner,
Did it diffuse the situation?
well, I'll be honest with you.
Because a lot of the time the police had to get involved.
Oh, but that's perfectly fine because the police are.
Didn't diffuse the situation.
It's a situation where the police are going to have to get involved anyway.
If I diffuse the situation, they don't need to get involved.
But the words couldn't diffuse it. So this is my point. I'm talking about diffusing
But
it all and all.
a lot of them situations I didn't try.
It still worked. That's my point.
I mean,
that is my angle. It did work. It did work. It did work because the police came and then they had to leave and they probably got banned. So it did work.
The police had
Those
to get
racists
involved.
and the racists
If I
couldn't come
diffuse-
back.
if I diffuse
they,
it-
they might have got an ASBO or a fine, yeah, and then they got banned. It did work.
But,
You can't be in Camden for the next 6 months. It worked.
Are they still racist?
But this is my whole point. You can't change someone's mind, but you
That
can
is
change
the
their
whole-
behaviour.
That is the
That's
whole
the whole angle. That's the whole point.
that I made in the first
This is the
place.
whole point, bro. You can't change their
stop
mind.
a
I'm not
racist
trying
being
to.
racist.
You just need to understand that Black Lives Matter. I don't care how you think or
I
feel about
just-
it. You can think. I'll tell you. I encourage you to feel how you feel.
And this
You
is,
just
this
can't
is
move away
this
around
is
me
where,
because
this
of
is
it.
where
Do you
we
understand?
this is
You're
where
not
the
gonna cut you. You're not
disagreement
gonna
is
move like that
always
because I'll
this
pull
is
you
where
up.
the disagreement
What the fuck
always
you think
goes
you do? I'm
wrong.
not. It's fine.
I
I'm not.
believe, I truly and honestly believe that it won't work for everybody, but I truly and honestly believe that there are people who are racist
I'm
out
gonna run
there
it back for you.
whose whole opinion can be changed because they're
We
racist
are
because
taught
of
by
ignorance.
the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan to show courtesy, respect,
Not now again.
and kindness to be polite to
Rest
all
in
people
peace.
as long as they are courteous, respectful, kind, and polite
We are.
to us. But we must look at the fact that we don't teach hatred. Everywhere we go as black people, we face hatred. Look at it. Look at it. Angel food cake, white people say, is white.
Yep.
Devil's food cake, you say, is black. You wear white to weddings and black to funerals. Black ball, black male. You give us a blonde-haired, blue-eyed, pale-skinned, buttermilk complexion Jesus in contradiction to the black Jesus with nappy hair in the Bible.
Last one that he missed out,
Our
yeah.
own babies,
You know when he
according
missed
to
out?
behavioral scientists, our baby girls, when confronted with choosing between a black doll and a white doll, there's been so much damage done. They choose the white doll and say the black doll is ugly. So racism is everywhere and it's institutionalized. We cannot really be racist because racism is prejudice plus power. Nothing I say up here nor anywhere in the world will impact stop fronting. Will impact on any white folks in this audience.
Nothing
on
they
your
say.
job,
The key
in
words,
politics,
nothing to be
in
said.
Economics,
Nothing
in
to be
housing,
said.
in the society. We don't have the power to do that, so we cannot be racist. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm
Beautiful
saying?
speech.
I'll give him that one.
Bad boy. But it's 100%. I believe it. I don't believe that there's any words alone that will manifest. I believe that all the dialogue up to this point has been right, bro. I believe to break an institution or to break a system, then you have to do something outrageous. You have to take something they love and you have to bring it down. The same way they did it to us, we have to do it to them. But we're not going to go to their sort of outrage. When you said that question before, is there a war you're looking for? No, bro, of course not. Like, war shouldn't have to be the answer. Do you understand that? For you to think that extreme, that tells me that you don't believe that dialogue will work. Because I'm saying to you that I believe that through these riots and through this dialogue that we will come to a peaceful place. I believe that we will come to a place where they will understand that Black Lives Matter. And
I believe
change
that
this
through a
behaviour.
dialogue. I believe that through a dialogue, and the dialogue that we're going down now is the correct one. But as I said, as I said, I believe we could have been here sooner.
Of course.
That's my belief.
Well, guys, it's been fun. Much love and respect. I want to thank Daniel Williams for being in the building. Big love and thank you for being here. It's been a lot. Mr. Madadan Palmer as well. Big love, thank you for being in the building. It's been influential, man. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for listening, man.
Cheers,
we'll be
guys.
back again
More to
soon.
come.
Yeah,
more to
just
come.
keep involved. Make sure you take a look at Always Finesse TV.
Yeah,
Of course.
please.
You
Andre
just need
Finesse
to-
TV, man. Like the page.
Yeah, just
Please.
like
There's
the
a lot
page,
more
man.
coming, man.
It's
A lot more.
becoming-
We're just warming up.
Love, exactly,
Just getting
man.
back into this.
Thank you, though, you guys. Peace and love.